With this premier motorsport destination set amidst the scenic landscapes of southwestern Slovakia, welcome to the Slovakia Ring, located near the capital of the country. Bratislava is a blend of natural beauty and cultural richness. The region also boasts expansive fields, serene rivers and picturesque villages that offer a glimpse into traditional Slovak life. Whether you're here for the high-octane excitement of the racetrack or to explore the historical natural treasures nearby, Slovakia promises an unforgettable experience for every visitor, and every visitor this weekend for round 3 of the Champions of the Future. Year of opening 2020, lap record setting time qualifying in the senior category yesterday of a 49.960 set by Jindřich Pešel. The track itself, though, absolutely superb. It's fast and fierce. 1.1 kilometers, 220 meters down the main straight. It's 150 meters down the infield straight. The track is 7 meters wide around the majority of it, but on that start-finish straight, it goes to 10 meters wide, and it's a flat circuit. There's no elevation changes here, apart from a little lift here or there, but it's a pretty flat circuit for all of our drivers this weekend. Turns in total, there are 15 of them, 5 to the right, 8 to the left, and the 3 hairpins out on circuit. Main overtaking opportunities, well, there are quite a few of them. We've seen overtakes in towards turn 1, we've seen overtakes into 5, turn 7, as well as turns 12, and into that final corner. But any overtake you do here has to be 100% committed. Speeds around this circuit, and the exit speed out of that final corner is vital because you'll reach 115 kilometers an hour into the braking zone of turn number 1. 85 kilometers an hour is around the average speed these drivers will be reaching around the entirety of this 1.1 kilometer circuit. Myself, Anthony Jordan, and Andrew Mather in the commentary box. We've had an exciting first half of the day. Andrew, are we going to see some more excitement in the second half?
Absolutely. I think we're dizzy with excitement here in the commentary box on what should be a very intriguing story for the rest of the qualifying heats. If you're just joining us, we're midway through round 4. We kick off the afternoon session with the second set of drivers in that 4th round for OK Junior. The qualifying heat for groups D and F. They will be out on circuit shortly. Conditions are good. They're dry here at the track. And after some difficult conditions on Friday in particular, back and forth with the rain, we had a big thunderstorm here last night as well. These are probably the best driving conditions the drivers have had across the course of the weekend so far.
Certainly is. There on your screen is your pole sitter for this one, Arjen Kraling. This will be the first time he starts on the inside row this weekend. So really looking forward to seeing what he can do with this opportunity. As you can see, he has chosen to stay on that inside line. The pole sitter has the right to switch sides. Arjen Kraling choosing to stick to the normal inside traditional line here at the Slovak Karting Centre. Anti-clockwise circuit. I think it's the first anti-clockwise circuit we have done this year. The rest of them have all been clockwise. And
the only one as well that we do across the course of 2024, if I'm right in saying.
Yeah, I believe so. But there you can see the hard-working marshals out on the circuit. The Orange Army. I'm going to say Orange and Green Army here at the Slovak Karting Centre, only because that's the colours that they're wearing. The guys and girls on track are in orange. The hard-working guys and girls in the paddock area and in the pre-grid area, all in green. And you can actually see them there in the background. There on your screen, you can see Theo Battisti, who starts this one on the front row of the grid. 6th, 24th earlier on in the days. Of course, he's had some more results there as well in his previous races. But again, has been one to keep an eye on. He's had some troubling starts in some of his races today. It's been an up-and-down weekend for so many drivers, hasn't it?
It has, and for Battisti, hasn't made a final so far this season. I think this is a really, really important heat to convert starting on the front row into good points. There's a driver starting in the second row of the grid, Asher Oxteen. He's had a really good weekend. I've been really impressed with how Ash has been getting on out there. Best performance of the year so far for me. Jagrid the Troja there at the back of the field is going to have work to do from the penultimate row. Green light has been shown. So let's take you through the grid for this qualifying heat involving groups D and F in OK Junior. It is Ian Kraling and Thea Battisti on the front row. Asher Oxteen and Sunan Z on row 2. Noah Baglin and Kenzo Craigie making all Great Britain row 3. Branislav Rentka, the home favourite, on row 4 alongside Drew Waltz. Cara Fairhand and Marco Gast are on the 5th row of the grid. Bosco Arias and Scott Marsh will look to improve from row number 6. On row 7, it's Dean Hugendorn and Matteo Rivals. On row 8, James Adagnostiadis and Arthur Huang.
Row number 9 sees Klara Kowalczyk and Bogdan Kozma. Then it's Oliver Rasmussen and Kosei Aguma on row 10. They give us our top 20. Bruno Kriek and Efim Durinov go from row 11 from Jean-Matteo Rousseau and Joel Pokela on row 12. Remember, Pokela, the winner from Val d'Argenton. In the FIA Championship and for this one as well. Felipe Rice go from row 13. Then it's Francois Kerdel, Martin Lichtner, who would be on the grid, but he is missing. Hopefully the Slovakian driver is okay. Jandrak Troja and Mats van Rooyen around the next 2 drivers, with Gustavo da Silva rounding out the last spot on the grid. Tyre talk is coming to that part of the weekend now. Andrew, tyres have been used. Drivers deploying brand new sets. 4 drivers going for a fresh set of boots on the right-hand side of their kart. Those 4 drivers include Keo Fairhand, James Adagnostiadis, Arthur Huang and Kosei Aguma, all around the mid-pack area of this grid. Do you reckon that's a good time?
Yeah, I reckon now is a good time. The weather conditions have been very unpredictable this weekend, and I just wonder, are some drivers thinking, do you know what, I don't want to have a free set of tyres that I've not used when we get to the superheats tomorrow. I've not really used my dries too much so far this weekend. Let's throw a new set on and see what we can do, because it's very clear from the results that we've seen this morning, you can overtake round this circuit. You can make progress through the field, particularly if you've got a bit of a tyre advantage. There's your front row, Kraling and Battisti. Battisti really, really needing a good result here, needing a good start as well. It went all wrong for him in the previous race. Got half turned around and lost around 15 positions. Are we good for a start here in OK Junior? Into the tram lines, green lights, away we go for the first race of the afternoon. Good start for Kraling, good start as well, very good start for Asher Oxteen, who's done the same move that we saw, 5 wide, and there's at least 1 kart off to driver's right. What a start though for Asher Oxteen, similar to what we saw from Kai Rillerts in the senior class earlier on this morning. From grid 3, getting the run down, Adagnostiadis is in the middle of it. Well, those new tyres are not going to give an advantage at all. Who else is off down there? Marco Gast has not come through. Scott Marsh has been delayed. Matteo Rivals and Bruno Kriek are all in trouble on lap 1.
Yeah, that is a disaster going into that one, and action still happening here. Further in the field, this is the battle for 3rd place downwards all the way throughout, and you can see the concertina effect kicking in. Drivers are getting squeezed and squished in that mid-pack, and there's more turmoil here. The 42 and the 98, well, it's Forza and a Paralin, and unfortunately both of them tumbling down the order. 42 is Drew Waltz, the 98 is Efim Durinov. And Drew Waltz there clearly saying to Efim, get that kart off mine. And I'm going to try and get that restarted, but clearly he's not a happy bunny out there.
Not at all. That's going to be a long, long way back from there. So 7 drivers do not make it round the first lap. Yellow flags out, of course. Oxteen from Baglin. Battisti's held there in 3rd place. Sun in there in 4th place as well. Who's made good progress at the start? Oliver Rasmussen's made good progress at the start. Up 9 spots and into the top 10. Klara Kowalczyk as well, up 6 to 11th, followed through by Bogdan Kozma Christopher. Francois Kerdel with another good start. Not the first time we've said that today or this weekend. Up 11 spots on that first lap. He's there in 15th.
He is. Well, Marshall's doing a fantastic job clearing the circuit after the lunch break here. We couldn't go racing without that orange army, and again, fantastic effort from every single one of them. Oxteen, though, leading the way. Is he getting closed in, though, a little bit? This is Battisti, though, getting closed in by Sun Aziz. So this is 3rd, 4th, 5th place onwards on your screen. The top 3, they are clear by some about a second, but I think Battisti's closing in on Baglin, actually. I think Baglin's not out of the woods just yet. That could get a little bit interesting here, but crucially, though, good getaway. Francois Ködel, he's had a good run. He's up 11 positions. You've alluded to that one already as well. Further back, Mats van Rooyen was having a good run. He's just dropped down a couple of positions on that last sector, so it's not all gone his way. Keeping an eye on those drivers here. Here's the battle for the lead. Asher Austin, Baglin, just there, 1-2. Battisti, he's there in third place. He's in the biggest pressure point here right now, isn't he? He's fallen back into the clutches there, and Sun Az is actually right on that rear bumper now.
He is, but I think this is still a decent result. You know, good points going on the board. It's just got to keep it in there, I'd say, in the top 10 to boost his way up through the intermediate classification. Just to note as well, drivers who were affected by hold-ups on that first lap. Scott Marsh has rejoined the back of the main pack, but is down in 22nd place. Is the fastest, one of the fastest drivers on the circuit at the moment, as Battisti loses out there, loses 3 positions. Through go Sun, Fairhand and Arias, so they all are up in the top 5. Oh, 4 Theo Battisti is now being ganged up on. Through go Craigie, and I think Rasmussen is going to have a go as well in the not too distant future. 2 Powellins at the front of this group then. Sun Az and Cara Fairhand into turns 3 and 4. It's the ever impressive Bosco Arias. How many times have we seen that this so far in 2024? Right there. Brilliant race so far, up in the top 5.
Yeah, it certainly is. He's been right there with these top running drivers, always having a good one. Craigie with a huge send down the inside of Arjun Krailing, says thank you very much for that one, and moves ahead. But you could see how much he was committed to it. The rear of the kart stepping out of line. Amazing to see. And again, we're seeing it more here. Bosco Arias down the inside of Kerry Fairhand and moves ahead. Nicely done through turn 12. No real drama there, but it was weird where it happened, actually. It happened at the exit of the corner, not on the entrance of the corner. That's an unusual spot there.
Yeah, but he made it work.
He did.
It's all positions being converted with these, or points, I should say, being converted with these positional gains. Here's Craigie on the rear bumper of Cara Fairhand. Fairhand right now. This is 4th, 5th place, because Ayaguma was just at the fastest lap of the race. Craig down the inside. Lovely stuff. Gives it a little bit of kick of oversteer as well, just to confirm that he's got the space on circuit to take 5th place. Ian Krailing has followed through as well. So Fairhand down to 7th position. James Anagnostiadis, just a note, has rejoined the race. Has potentially got a bit of a key role to do here now, because this has become a glorified test session for Anagnostiadis and the wider Prema team to tell them how is a new tyre, new set of tyres reacting to the track surface right now.
Yeah, you bring up a very good point there. I mean, a lot of data you can take from that, and yeah, if he keeps his nose clean and just works on trying to get this one into the end, I mean, he is all on his own at the moment. He's going into the final corner now, is our man James Anagnostiadis. So yeah, like you say, glorified test session, nicely put. But right here at the front, Maglin, 0.3 of a second with 3 laps to go. I reckon that's a good gap he's closed in. Baglin closing in on Asher Austin. This battle far from over between these two. Asher looking for a first win this weekend. There's a spin in the middle of the track, and amazingly all the karts avoid. Great control from the rest of them. That's at turn 11, and it's the 94 of Sun Az, who was running in P6 until that point. And was that contact or just a mistake?
Oh, it's a real shame for Sun Az then. Can see another one of the aspects of this circuit, because it's so tight and twisty. It's arguably one of the most difficult to get the kart restarted on that one push start that all the drivers are allowed if they do have a problem. We'll remain to see if Sun Az has been able to get the kart running again at the moment. The number 94 has not come through sector number 3. Well, I think the answer is there. Is that not the 94 parked on the inside of turn 11 as the leaders come through here on lap number 8? 2 more to go. Austin still leading this one from Baglin. This result would push Austin up to 5th place in the intermediate classification. It would push the likes of Felipe Sala and Nicholas Schaufler down a couple of spots. Ian Krailing at the moment would also be benefiting. He's up at the top 8 now with that 5th place on the road. Not so good news, though, for the number 32. Jean-Matteo Rousseau has received a warning flag.
Certainly has. It's the battle for third place. Kenzo Craigie controlling that battle, but Bosco Arias right on that rear bumper as they head down the infield straight in towards turn 7. This corner is becoming a favourite for a lot of drivers to get a nice move down the inside. It certainly seems to be one of the safest places to overtake, and I use the word safely because it's low risk but high reward to get the overtake done there.
It's a little bit of a change of what we thought would happen at the start of the weekend. A lot of drivers saying, yeah, turn 5's a really good spot, but as turn 5's developed over time, it's got a really rubbered-in main line. But if you're on the outside, you can lose a lot of time. So as a result, a lot of drivers who would be on the outside are being very defensive through that portion of the circuit so they don't lose, you know, into the 1 position, 2, 3, 4 positions. I think that's just meaning we're getting a few more moves into turn number 7 now. We're on the final lap of this one. Here are your race leaders. Asher Osteen for CRG Racing Team. Noah Baglin as well for Prema Racing. Well, after Baglin had a pretty torrid start. Oh, it's out of the race. Is that Craigie and Arias?
It is.
It is. So Craigie and Arias, who are in the battle for third place, have come together on the exit of turn number 2, and in terms of major contention are out of this one. Osteen's going to take the race victory, Anthony, with a very accomplished drive.
Yeah, he will indeed. He'll be delighted with that one. Baglin will finish a very close second place, but third place now is miles down the road. They now cross the line, and it is in the form of Arjun Krayling. Dean Hugendorn finishes in 4th place ahead of Kier Fairhand, who rounds out the top 5. Hugendorn then taking full opportunity with those two dropping down the order. So Hugendorn taking full advantage of that one. Bogdan Kozma, 12 places gained, finishes in P6 ahead of Branislav Rentka. Now that is, I think, Branislav's best result here this weekend. The Slovakian running with crop promotion this weekend, finishing inside the top 10. Arthur Huang from Corsair Guma, Scott Marsh from Oliver Rasmussen, Joel Pokula, 12 positions gained ahead of Rousseau. Then it's Kerdal with his 12 positions gained from De Trojas 13. Gustavo da Silva finishing up 14 places in P16 ahead of Mats van Rooyen. Theo Battisti from Clara Kowalczyk. Then it's Felipe Rice and James Anagnostiidis finishing in 21st place. Many retirements. Craigie, Aras, then it's Sunazee, Drew Waltz, Marco Gast, Matteo Rivals, Bruno Greek, Efrem Duranov, and the one non-starter, Martin Lickner. Unfortunately not going out on the circuit for that one. But Asher Osteen for CRG takes his first qualifying heat win of the weekend as he makes its way into scrutineering. Let's have a look at the highlights from that one. Good start from the front of the grid, but it all kicked off in the background, and there you could just see on the left-hand side of your screen, one driver in the background and many more in the barriers, and that is how we lost the likes of Efrem Duranov, Bruno Greek, Matteo Rivals, I believe Marco Gast in that early stage as well. Race continuing, though, at the start, and clearly great getaway for Asher Osteen. Really just driving away at the start of that one, not worrying too much about anything. Baglin got through. This was that incident at turn number 1. The drivers getting caught out with that one. Unfortunately, one of the drivers dropping the cart on themselves there. That was Bruno Greek. Hopefully he is okay after that one. But yeah, very easily done. There is our man from Slovakia who had a really good qualifying, Branislav Rentka, who had a good result in that one. Certainly pushed his way through on this one. This was Bosco Arias making his way through the field as well, starting these races P11. There was the unfortunate retirements there of Drew Waltz and the 98 of Efrem Duranov, unfortunately out of the race at that point. Big send for the two Paralins, and backwards, unfortunately, would go the Sodi kart of Theo Battisti. Good, better start to his race this time around. Unfortunately, he just got pulled into the pack there, and unfortunately wasn't able to get those overtakes done fast enough to get back up into that top spot. This was Craigie making his way through at turn 7. Nice little overtake there through the corner. So many drivers doing that. This was Battisti fighting back at that stage. Now, this was the unfortunate spin here for Sunazee, unfortunately. Tried to get it restarted, just wouldn't get going, and Marshall's quickly on the scene. Race would finish, though, and it would go the way of Asher Osteen. A superb drive from Asher Osteen. His first win of the weekend, certainly the one he will look forward to, see if he can do that again much later on in the day. But the next race is coming up thick and fast. It is the OK category, qualifying heat D versus F. Back to 13 laps and back with the senior class, and back with, of course, some big names out on that grid. We look forward to it. Cleanup operation underway on the circuit. There you can see the hard-working marshals working well there. Of course, we had that last lap interview as well. But we will head down to Parc Ferme. Andrew Mather, it's over to you.
Thank you very much, Anthony, down here in Parc Ferme with Asher Osteen. Asher, really good win that. Tell me about it.
I got a good run on crawling down into T1, and then I sent it in, and then I guess I just pulled away. I didn't look behind except for the last lap, and I didn't realize how big of a gap I had, really. So I thought it was a good race. Just pulled away, and then there's a little board up there in T1, and I saw that was saying purple, so I knew I was pretty quick out there.
The performances seem to be getting better and better. There seems to be something that the CRGs have found overnight. What have you been working on in preparation for today?
The team has been working really hard. We, in France, we made an engine change to Buscini, and it was a lot better. And the team have been working really hard to get the best setups this weekend. We've been testing a lot. So, I mean, it's a great feeling to, get the results to be shown out there. Yeah.
And in terms of track evolution as well, we've had a lot of rain last night, some rain this morning. How is the track feeling at the moment?
It's definitely less grip out there than before, and but I feel like my driving style kind of suits that, so it was great for that to happen, really, because I'm always quick in those conditions.
Good stuff. Well done once again, Asher. I'll let you get back to prepare for the next race. I'll see you later on.
Bye.
Good result there for Asher Osteen. Anthony, back up to you for the next race.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Great to hear there from Asher, and vital intel there as well, just how drivers are feeling. Senior category coming up next. As you can see, the sun is bearing down on the circuit. The air temperature is actually up to 20 degrees here now at the Slovakia ring, so it's actually turning out to be a really nice day here. Obviously, we are just now into the first day of June, so if anything, I would say summer's here now. So there we go. That's what we like to see. We've been waiting for this part of the season for a long time, with so much rain and cold weather in some very nice places of the world. The grid for this one, really exciting. Scott Lindblom starting this one on pole position. The driver from Sweden's had some really good results. He has impressed. I think still chasing that first qualifying heat win, though. Here's a look at what you can expect to see for the rest of the day. Again, alternating between the senior and junior categories, with Group D and F coming up next is the next race. And then, of course, it's Groups A and C for both junior and senior. Then over to Groups D and E. We then go to A and F, then to B and C. And then that rounds out the entirety of the day. The last race going out on circuit at 5:05 local time here in Slovakia. So again, looking forward to seeing what happens out for the rest of the day, and whether or not that sun stays sunny, because it could cloud over again. There is pockets of rain all over the area. We just don't know. There is our pole setup for this one, Scott Lindblom. First time he'll be starting on that inside road. Good look at the tyres there on the front. They look in superb condition, actually, because, again, they've been switching between slicks and wets, so they've not actually been used that much. Only in this second half of the day, we might see some actual tyre wear coming into play here. Of course, we do get information of what is happening down there, but thus far, I believe everyone is just going for their normal setup. There's the banking. That is on the outside of turn number 1 and 2, a prime viewing location for many people. A lot of our spectators there at the sidelines. There is also, but again, it does happen. So many drivers have had ups and downs over the course of this weekend. But right now, everyone just focusing on their next race. Looking down the grid, do have confirmation some drivers deploying a fresh set of tyres on the right-hand side of their karts. I will let you know who they are a little bit later on, though, as we get ready for this one. Not far off from that whistle blowing and the drivers making their way out. Let's take you through the starting lineup for this one. Then it's going to be a very close and exciting race, and with Scott Lindblom and Eliska Babičková on the front row, it should be a very exciting one. Timo Ramikas and Blake Nash go from row 2. They'll have Dmitry Matveev and Anatoly Kavalkin on row 3. Matt Corby and Lewis Werrell go from row 4. Matt Corby, fresh set of tyres on the right-hand side. Row 5, Michael Adair and Mark Brovko. They'll have Aaron Garcia and Luna Flusha on row 6. Andy Konsani and Mark Demnitsky go from row 7 with Kasper Henriksen. And, well, dear me, there's a bit of a pile-up on pit lane exit. Now, crucially, the white line that you see there, that is the safety line. No mechanic will be allowed to pass that line. So this is why they're going to have to push them back here now. They've got to give themselves a lot of time to get started, and crucially as well, they can't start them with the grid going past. They have to wait for the entirety of the grid to go through. Now, who is there? Well, Eliska Babičková is saying that she's not out on track. She's not clocking up. Mark Brovko is one of them, and Luna Flusha. So it is Eliska Babičková. So maybe it started with Eliska because she was the first out of the pit lane, and I think Mark Brovko and Luna Flusha just had nowhere to go. Another confirmation there, Matt Corby. Brand new set of tyres on the right-hand side of his kart. A little further back in the grid, though, I think we're on row 7. Andy Konsani, Mark Demnitsky on row 7. Kasper Henriksen and Salim Hanau on row 8. Row 9 sees Guillaume Bizarro and Hugo Marti. Row 10 sees Grayson Skulinov, who's also deployed a brand new set of tyres on the right-hand side. We'll have Jakub Rashki for company. Then it's Jensen Graham and Vega Clementson, Wojciech Travuska and Emily Koivisto round out the 24 kart grid. Crucially, all 24 are now out on circuit, but there are drivers missing from position. There you can see a lone Scott Lindblom at the start of that one. Eliska Babičková is, well, she's clawed her way back through the field, but you've passed the red line now. There is no overtaking beyond this point, so she will be missing from that spot into the tram lines. Lights go green. We are away and racing, and it's a great start from Lindblom. There's contact in the background. Sideways goes one of the Tony karts. I think that was Blake Nash getting squeezed out there, but I think he's survived that one. He's still in contention, this one. He's on the outside of turns 3 and 4. He will have to get the inside line into turn 5 here if he wants to keep gaining and not losing these positions. But crucially at the front, Lindblom leads ahead of Timo Ramikas.
Does indeed. A crucial thing for Blake Nash as well is he already had not good results so far this weekend. He's one of those drivers who really needs a strong run across the course of this afternoon to position himself well for the super heats tomorrow. It's a group of 4 who've broken away from the rest of the pack, headed up by Scott Lindblom for Fusion Motorsport. Timo Ramikas there as well in second place. Good start for Dmitry Matveev there in third. And Matt Corby, this again, Corby, oh, look at that down the inside from Matt Corby. That's a beautiful move into third, and that is exactly what the Swiss driver needs.
Yep, brand new set of tyres on that right-hand side for Corby, so clearly it's working out for him. It's not working out for that young driver there, unfortunately. Mark Brovko out of this race. He will go no further. Big shame there. Ramikas is closing in on Lindblom. He's not getting away. And crucially, Corby is closing in on both of them with a fresh set of tyres on the right-hand side.
Yeah, he is indeed. And through and towards turn 11 to go. Now Ramikas down the inside has made it work. Well, we've been saying that turn 11 isn't really an overtaking spot here today. How about Timo Ramikas, the man to prove us all wrong yet again. Brilliant move by the Belgian, and he leads at the end of lap 2.
He certainly does, and he's looking for his first qualifying heat win, I believe, here. He's not had one yet, so this would really look good on his resume this weekend for Timo Ramikas. And Corby has lost out on third place as well, despite the fact that he's got that brand new set of tyres, but running wide was Matveev. And just getting caught out there was Corby. Michael Adair has closed in. We know how Michael Adair likes to send it for a move, but Corby's going to go back for it down the inside at turn 7. Here's Michael Adair putting his money's worth in as well. He gets through past Matviev as well and moves up behind Corby into P5.
Yeah, good reading of the road ahead by Michael Adair to make that move work. There's a notification from race control. The 288 of Salim Hanar is under investigation. Down the inside there is one of the Paralins. I think that's Anatoly Kavalkin going through. Yes, it is. So Kavalkin ahead of Matviev now for 5th place. And Lewis Werrell, who's had a bit of a quiet weekend so far, was one of the drivers earlier in that multi-class race, in a way, of those who are on slicks, those who are on wets. Werrell was one of the ones on slicks, so he's recovering back here from difficulties earlier on today, but is looking up for this for Forza Racing. He's had a great season, a great introduction to this level. It's down the inside for 2nd place. Goes Matt Corby, past Scott Lindblom there, and now the VDK Racing number 309, piloted by Matt Corby. Can he close in on his teammate there in first?
Statistics should say yes. Brand new set of tyres on the right-hand side. He's got good pace right now. He's gained those positions. He's making his way through the field. It's taken him a little bit longer than I think he would like. You know, we're going on to lap 5 now of this 13-lap race. But yes, he's got the clean air. And look how much he's pulled away from Lindblom already. Lindblom is under pressure from Michael Adair here. So yeah, Corby, I reckon, is going to be on Thibaut Rameka's rear bumper. But Rameka's will not give up the place easily because he's looking for his first win of the weekend.
And is, of course, a championship contender.
And
He needs every position at this stage of the season that he can get. At the moment, this 50 points for first position is the difference between him being in 4th place in the intermediate classification and 5th. That would be a resultant championship points difference. Here's the scrap for 3rd place. Lindblom, Adair, Kavalkin and Werrell back there in 6th place.
Yes, indeed. Here, though, down the inside. Oh, there's a little bit of contact between the two of them, and squeezed out wide goes Lindblom. Michael Adair goes through, so does Kavalkin and Lewis Werrell. All 3 of them go through, and now Lindblom is on the back foot here as he tries to get back in touch with this group of 3 that's already starting to break away. Adair is looking absolutely fine there in 3rd place. I don't think he's going to be under any pressure. His pace has looked good. I think he's continuing his charge here of trying to break away from this back and close in on Matt Corby. Corby, though, who set the fastest lap of the race. The gap's down to 0.3 of a second. We could see a change for the lead very soon.
Could indeed. Also coming up through the order, Casper Henriksen for Ward Racing is up to 9th place. Salim Hanar is up to 10th as well, still under investigation. No news in our ears or on our screens regards the 288 from what we saw a few moments ago. This is your battle for the lead. 2 teammates. Well, we've seen this often between VDK Racing entries so far this year. Often it's in this class. It's been Thibaut Rameka's and Finn McLaughlin who formed the VDK 1-2 train. So it's good to see that Matt Corby raising his levels now to the standards that we've seen from Rameka's and McLaughlin earlier in the year.
Yes, indeed. You know, there's always that thing that, yes, this is good, yes, this is good. But I'm sure there'll be something, you know, inkling in the back of Matt Corby's mind saying, oh, that was
Rameka's
very wide through turn 10 there. A big mistake from Thibaut Rameka's. That's just invited Corby right onto that rear bumper again. Grayson Skulinov's just received a warning flag, but eyes are on this one. That was very strange there. Is that tyres are really struggling now?
I think it might be a combination of tyres struggling, and again, the amount of rain that we've had here, getting off the dry, rubbered-in racing line, there's a lot of sliding for the drivers that they're having to deal with. There's not a lot of grip off the racing line. I wonder as well, did Matt Corby just hold back on that one? I think if he was not on the same team, he would have been straight down the inside. But again, just making sure that they can bring this one home. Let's have a look at it again. So yeah, Rameka's is a touch wide. You see, he understeers a bit there as well, but then kicks into oversteer. Well held by the Belgian. Again, Corby just holding back there, going, right, we'll let Rameka's have his little moment and make sure that we're still going to come around the next corner without having lost these positions.
Well, like you say, he's been a good little rear gunner here, and I think they'll have had a talk at the end of this one. You know, they've probably said to Matt Corby, get these new tyres on, get 2nd place, and push Rameka's along, because like you were saying, Rameka's is in a championship fight here. Is another angle. Yeah, just went overcommitted, oversteer through the corner. Yeah, the back stepping out there. That is not the quickest way around the corner, I can tell you that. But yeah, like you were saying, you know, Corby being a great little rear gunner here. Ramaker's in contention for the championship. He's up to 4th in the IC now as well. You know, if Corby goes for the move, he's in his own right to do that. He is his own driver. He's his own person. If he wants to go for it, yes. Albeit, in fact, it'll be quite exciting. But I think as a teammate, I think he'll stay behind. This here, though, there are no teammates. Michael Adair, of course, for CRG. Then you've got Anatoly Kavalkin for Paralin and Lewis Werrell for Forza Racing. There will be no love lost here. Any chance they get for an overtake, they'll go for it.
Werrell looking really racy out of the final corner. Has a little look down the inside. Nah, you weren't far enough alongside that time, Lewis. That was a brave one down the inside, but rightly just pulled out of that one. Again, had a tremendous season running, of course, on the X3 chassis. Just got to pick his moment, you'd think, across the course of the next 3.5 laps. It's good news for Michael Adair. He's just able to breathe a bit ahead of Kavalkin. Luna Flusha having a really good race here. Anthony's up 5 positions. She's there in 7th place. Another driver who struggled earlier through no fault of her own. It's a simple case of just being on the wrong tyre at the wrong time. This is another good recovery for her in the Prema Racing entry. Yeah,
exactly. But of course, the start of this one wouldn't have been the one that she wanted, unfortunately. The kart not starting in the pre-grid, which meant that she obviously had to start from the back of the grid, and she tried to make her way through, but unfortunately she started in the mid to back pack. So yeah, it was a big shame for her, no fault of her own. There's a kart that is going to go no further. That is the 263 of Hugo Marti. Unfortunately, he is out of this race, and well, that is a disaster. That's at the entrance of turn 11. And clearly something's just gone awry there. If it was contact or mechanical failure, we just don't know. Eyes on this one here. Michael Adair breaking away. This is into that moment there. Yeah, there's no other sign of any other kart, so maybe just mechanical failure there for Hugo Marti. Kavalkin, though, is looking like the biggest driver under pressure here. And as I say it, yes, indeed, down the inside goes Lewis Werrell. Committed there and made it work.
Yeah, we've not seen too many overtakes so far. Be pulled off that sweetly through turn 14 and 15. So nice work from Lewis Werrell up into 4th place. 2 laps to go, including the one that we are on. Ramaker's now extending his lead by 1.3. I think you're absolutely right with your assumptions earlier there, Anthony. I think there is a little bit of team play going on there. And Corby probably now trying to just save the tyres, perhaps a little bit. Knows that it's job done. He's getting a good haul of points here. Ramaker's is going to hold this to the end. No point trying to hassle your teammate when you know you're going to be planning to hold 1st and 2nd. It's been a very well executed race tactically from them.
I think so, yeah, indeed. And you know, smart driving from the drivers. They've been really working hard on this one to really push themselves forward. There is Ramaker's going on to the final lap of this race. Clean and dry, 1.2 seconds further up the road from Matt Corby. Michael Adair has, though, become under pressure from Lewis Werrell. The battle for 3rd place has started to heat up, and there you could see it gone very dark there. I think maybe the sun dipping behind a very dark cloud. That may not be a good sign for later on, if there may be a spot of rain on the way. But Lewis Werrell, with the fastest lap of the race, actually is up into 3rd place. He's got past Michael Adair, so there has been a change for 3rd place. You can see that in the background. But eyes here on Thibaut Ramaker's. He's fighting for this championship, and he has worked hard over the course of this weekend. He has not had a qualifying heat win so far. Qualifying didn't go his way, but at the second half of the day, it is going his way. Across the line, it is Thibaut Ramaker's taking his first win of the weekend ahead of his teammate Matt Corby in 2nd place. That is their best results of the weekend for the VDK team. Lewis Werrell finishes in 3rd place ahead of Michael Adair. Anatoly Kavalkin finishing in the top 5 ahead of Scott Lindblom. Salim Hana finishing in 7th place ahead of Luna Flusha. Mike Dubnitsky and Kasper Henriksen, the top 10. But for this man here, Thibaut Ramaker's, exactly what you need.
Absolutely, and momentum. How many times have we seen this across the course of the international karting season in 2024? You get to Saturday, you get to the second half of the day, you get to the point where the points really matter. Thibaut Ramaker's comes to the fore. Wins it from Corby, Werrell, Adair and Kavalkin, your top 5. Lindblom, Hana, Flusha, Dubnitsky and Henriksen in the top 10. Matviev, Raisky, Clementson, Nash and Konsani, that's your top 15. Garcia, Koivisto, Buzar, Graham and Babitskova your top 20. Those were your finishers. Hugo Marti was a mechanical failure in the 2.63, ahead of Skulanov in the classification. Svarushka in 23rd. One driver who did not see the end of lap 1, unfortunately, was Ward Racing's Mark Brovko.
Well, there you can see Dima Ramko's back into Parc Ferme. He'll be delighted with the result, and I'm sure so will the team, with a 1-2 at the end of that one. Certainly exactly what they needed. The rest of the field making their way in as well. Let's take a look at the highlights, though, from that race. Scott Lindblom, clear track at the start of it. Aliska Babichkova not there. There you could see the contact between Michael Adair and that looked to be the Tony Kart racing driver of Blake Nash, who was with. This was the replay of the start through turn number 2, the exit. Nicely done, and Corby starting to make his way through at this stage. He didn't fully get through at that point because they swapped positions again, and there was the early retirement from Mark Brovko. The body language suggests mechanical issue on that one. There was the change for the lead. Ramika's down the inside of Lindblom. Lindblom just holding on to it, and that's how Corby lost out from Matviev. It's very easily done, but got it back later on as well.
Did indeed. I think for Scott Lindblom, that was a bit of a learning race. He's had a super run so far in his first weekend at this level. But yeah, 6th place for the Swedish driver. It's still good points, but he'll have wanted more, especially having started at the front of this one. Matt Corby down the inside used his new tyres to great effect. That was him getting past Scott Lindblom. Through would go Michael Adair as well, and Anatoly Khavalkin and Lewis Werrell. Scott Lindblom would then settle into that 6th place. Big moment here for Ramakas, running wide through turn number 10, but such as his skill, was able to hold that one. Werrell on the attack late on as well. That was him down the inside of Khavalkin for 4th place. He would in the end get Adair as well for 3rd, but it was a 1-2 for VDK Racing. Ramakas from Corby. Maximum points for them from that qualifying heat. It leaves intermediate classification looking like this. Rillart's on 180, Lindblom on 154, as is Zach Drummond. Tibor Ramakas is up to 4th on 149. Noah Montero currently completing that top 5, but we should remember there is another race to go in OK for this round.
Well, we're going to take a short break. Do not go anywhere. We will be back with some more racing in a couple of minutes. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Champions of the Future, round 3 here at the Slovakia ring. Next race is coming up thick and fast. OK Junior qualifying heat A versus C. Before we went to that ad break, you saw a small glimpse of that rain radar. Well, as I say it, there it is again. Let's have a look at that. Well, again, we are completely surrounded by pockets of rain, yet over the top of us, there is nothing. But I suspect maybe later on, maybe even for the last race of the day, we might have a inkling of precipitation. There, though, the grid gets itself ready to go for this one. And there, starting on pole position, William Kalija has been eluded a race win so far this weekend, despite the fact that he was outright pole in qualifying. What does that do to a driver, Andrew? It must be disheartening.
Yeah, I think it's a really, really tough prospect for a driver to keep the spirits up. But William Kalija's got a lot of experience. He's raced from a young age at an international level. He'll know, and the team, more importantly, will know how to get his spirits up for this race. And he's one of those drivers, you can never count him out. He's always got that turn of speed at his disposal. It's just about the execution again of making sure that he can race through here. There's a quick sight. Of course, we were here at a large motorsport complex, the biggest in Slovakia. There is the main circuit. That's got some motorcycles running around it today. Beautiful part of the world. And yeah, it's great to be here for 3rd round of Champions of the Future 2024.
Certainly is, and you can see so much effort has been put into this facility to make it work for us over the course of this weekend, and of course in a couple of weeks' time as well. But let's take you through the starting lineup for this one, because there are quite a few drivers with some new tyres out there. But on the front row of the grid, William Kalija and Harrison Mackie. Mackie looking to go up to 200 points here in the intermediate classifications. Luke Cornder and Alfie Slater going from row number 2. They've got Oliver Kinmark and Roman Kamyab on row 3. Rocco Coronel and Paul Andriotis go from row 4 ahead of Vladimir Ivanikov and Sun Xiaoyu on row number 5. Jarrett Clark and Maka Savalev go from row 6 ahead of Filippo Pancotti and Jesse Phillips. Pancotti going for a fresh set of tyres on the right-hand side. Remy Samchek and Maria Neto go from row 8. Remy Samchek, brand new set on the left-hand side.
Lucas Konopka and Dries van Langendonk go from row number 9. Henry Domain and Nicholas Stick go from row 10. Alex Malotto and Archie Lovett start on row 11. Sebastian Letimaki and Roland Nagy on row 12. Nagy has a set of new tyres on one side of the kart. Amir Saburov and Iskender Solfikari go from row 13. Kasper Reipold and Nikita Nikishov go on from row 14. Alexander Dahlstrom has also put some new boots onto the number 64, starts on row 15 alongside Xavier Dudkovsky. Max Enlikos as well has gone for a new half set of tyres, starts 31st and last in this one. Key race this, especially for Harrison Mackie there. For Fusion Motorsport has been in magnificent form, both at an international and national level this past, say, 5 or 6 weeks. Leads the intermediate classification, or led the intermediate classification at the end of round 3. Can he get himself back into the lead here in round 4 for the qualifying heats? If he gets a win, it's quite straightforward. He will hold that lead unchallenged going into the final round.
Certainly will. Well, Mackie's got a big job here. He needs to win this race and not fall down that order, of course. He is under threat from Christian Costoya, who is on 185. That gap has closed in. Remember, we were talking about it yesterday. At the end of the first day, there was a 20-point gap between the two drivers. It's down to just 15 now. So there is an opportunity. Well, it would be down to 15 if Mackie can take the win. We are green and racing, and it is a good start from Kalesia this time around, holding on to the lead. There's a spin in the background. One of the drivers out of this race already. We'll try and figure out who that is in the pack. But Kalesia gets a great getaway. It's the 130. That is very unfortunate for one of the drivers. I'm trying to think who the 130 is on our screen. It is Lucas Konopka. Yeah, it is indeed. Lucas Konopka, unfortunately from Slovakia, is out of his home race in this one. Well, that is a big shame. Further back, though, wow, look at Kalesia. He's broken away here. This has been a brilliant start.
This is what I'm talking about with William Kalesia. When everything just goes right, he is one of the fastest drivers in this field. Being shuffled down there as Luke Corner. Luke Corner's losing positions hand over fist, gets offline, and I think has lost 7 or 8 spots in all of that. Harrison Mackie also got a really difficult start. He got hung out to dry on the outside and has slipped all the way down to 13th. Mackie can fight back from here, though. We've seen him do this before when we've seen him race, at an international level. So there's not too much reason to concern him right now. It's a good number of laps to get it. If you're going to lose a number of positions, you'd rather do it at the start when you've got that time to race your way back through. Well,
with Mackie dropping down, he would lose his considerable lead in the intermediate classification as Rocco Coronel sends it down the inside like a torpedo and makes it work, which is absolutely fantastic. Alfie Slater follows as well as they go 2nd and 3rd on track. Kinmark goes down. Now Slater goes wheel to wheel with Rocco Coronel and just holds on to it. Amazing kart control for both of them as they exit out of the final corner back onto the start-finish straight. Slater says to Coronel, right, let's work together and go. I don't think Coronel will take it that lightly that he got squeezed out of the exit of turn 12.
I tend to agree, but the crucial thing with Alfie Slater is because he's had problems so far, he's actually got a little bit of fresher rubber underneath him. He might be quite a good kart to just hook onto the back of if you rock a Coronel, because Slater's got to go for it. He's got to get as many points as he can here. There is still a chance here of this kart racing through, this entry racing through into the high reaches of the final, but he's got to get good results here. He's got to close that 1.9 second gap down. I'll tell you what, he's pushing on here is Alfie Slater. That's a new purple sector number 2. Took about a 10th and a half out of the lead, as meanwhile further back is that Henry Domain. No, it's Vladimir Ivanikov.
No, it's Jesse Phillips.
There's problems further back, though. Is that Paul Andriotis? The number 24 in trouble. There's a Tony kart in there as well. And there's another kart involved there. It's Archie Lovett. Archie Lovett's out.
Yep.
So Archie Lovett, that's a 2nd retirement in a row. understandably very frustrated with that. It's Maria Neto who's out as well.
Yeah, Paul Andriossis, I think Makar Savalev was part of that group as well, but he has crossed the line. He really suffered in that when he dropped right to the back of the grid, so he was involved in that, but he's kept going. No change between these drivers here. Slater and Coronel staying the same. Kalisia's broken away. He's had a brilliant start, but they are closing in on him at a small rate, but they are closing in. Where is Harrison Mackie? He's back up to 9th. He is still 2nd in the intermediate classification with only a few points behind. He's made another move there, runs a little bit wide on the exit, kicks up dust. Does he still keep control of it on the exit? He goes back to 10th, so he does actually lose out on a position there. So he is struggling just that little bit to gain those places in this race. He, like you say, he had such an advantage effectively going into this race, because he knew that if he won it, he would be leading by 15 points. It'd be clear by the rest of them. But because he's dropped down so far, he's lost that 15-point lead and actually now lost the lead to Christian Costoya. Yeah,
Costoya at the moment, as things stand, would be 8 points ahead going into the final round of qualifying heats later on this afternoon. Great work, though, from Slater and Coronel. They're keeping this formation going. They're reeling Kalisia back in. It's a 10th here and a 10th there, but they've still got half this race to go. They've still got enough time to pull the race leader back towards them. It was 1.3 last time. It's 1 second the gap now. So they're pulling Kalisia in at around a quarter of a second to 3/10 of a second. Give it another 3 laps or so. I reckon they're going to be right there. Kalisia's got to keep pushing as well. Got to keep pushing on these tyres, because this result would be big. You know, that extra 6 points that you get in the intermediate classification for winning one of these races could be a major difference for the Australian this weekend. Also interesting to see, Dries van Langendonk has had a bit of a quiet race so far, but he's been getting along with things nicely. That's a new fastest lap of the race from the championship leader. Remember, he needs a good result here. Retired from his previous race on lap 1 after a bit of a melee happened, as there's a cart off at turn number 7, which we'll come back to in a moment. I think it's Filippo Pancotti.
Yep.
Thought it was the look of a Paralympic Motorsport entry in the wall, and Pancotti has fallen down the order. There is Pancotti out of the race, but more importantly, safe and sound, walking disappointedly back to the marshal post, but should be able to get out later on today.
Yeah, that is a big shame for Filippo Pancotti. Field making their way to the scene of that incident as well, down the infield straight in towards turn 7. Kalisia, the gap now down to half a second. Slater has closed in. Van Langendonk again with the fastest lap of the race. Yeah, we've not said much about Dries van Langendonk this weekend, and when we have spoken about him, it's because he's been retired from a race. It's certainly been a disaster of a weekend for him, especially for someone who was right up there in the championship as well. So, you know, really needs to be careful. Well, he's championship leader, isn't he? So, yep. You know, really does need to be careful at the end of this one. Kalisia as well, like you say, he's under pressure. Gap down to 2/10 of a second now. 3/10 on that last lap alone. This is the first time Kalisia's been in this situation, leading a race in the dying stages and getting closed up because the starts have just not gone his way. And I'm looking at the cart there. It doesn't look comfortable on the exit there, and straight down the inside, no drama. Slater's going to waste no time and go for the lead.
And Kalisia learning from yesterday as well, when he was in a similar position, not for a race lead, but for a position high up. Kind of let Alfie Slater have that one. There's some big news coming in a moment, but yeah, Kalisia realising, you know, if I give this lead up, it's only one space lost. If I fight it, Coronel could be through, Kinmark could be through. That was some wise-up driving. Big news, though. Technical flag for kart number 2. Dries van Langendonk is going to be out of this one. That is going to be a 3rd bad result for the championship leader. That is a really dangerous position to be in now in terms of this round. The chances of being in that top 36 and even being in the final are now looking very much in doubt for Van Langendonk. It's down the inside. Here comes Coronel. Well, we saw those two try and make that move yesterday. It didn't pull off. Today it did. Coronel up to P2.
Yep, nice tidy move there, and now you can see Kinmark has closed. Well, he's trying to fight back on this one, as everyone is right there as well. Phillips, Clark, Kamyab, Mackie back to 8th place now. What does that do for him? Puts him just 5 points behind Christian Costoya. There you can see, jumps back up to 2nd in the intermediate classifications as well. So again, he just needs to dig deep, again, keep gaining those positions if he wants to continue leading the intermediate classifications. But time is running out, and Slater is looking at 50 points to his name. That certainly helps him out, but he is not within the top 8 at the moment. That is a testament to say that his weekend has also not been that great.
But I think this is really going to build the confidence for Alfie Slater. This kind of performance has been, it's been knocking on the door for so long. There's so much expectation, obviously, on Alfie, in the family history, what his older brother Freddie has done in the sport. There's lots of eyes on Alfie to do the same. He's made a huge hold there. Nearly loses it at turn 10. Wrestles it back on the circuit at turn number 11. Rocco Coronel's right there now. Now take a deep breath, Alfie Slater, because you've still got the lead of this race, and you're going to come round to take the checkered flag. But my goodness me, Alfie Slater nearly threw that one away. It's a win, but by a little bit of a closer margin than I think he was expecting.
And that just proves how much strain they're putting on the kart into that braking zone of turn 11, let alone trying to commit to an overtake there. We've seen Ramikas do it, yeah, that just shows how tricky the entrance to that corner is. Brilliant stuff, though, and Slater takes the win.
Does indeed. So 50 points to the young Briton. Rocco Coronel, P2. And that'll be 44 points from the winner at Valencia. Oliver Kinmark, P3. Jarrett Clark. Another good drive from Jarrett Clark there. That's another top 5 for the Forza Racing, number 41 there. William Kalesia, 5th place. Solid result. That's more like it for the Australian. Jesse Phillips, P6 as well. Up 8 places for Jesse, the number 17. Roman Kamiab as well, P7. Ahead of Harrison Mackie, 8th. Now, that result does mean we've got a new leader in the intermediate classification. Mackie now slips 5 points behind Kostoya. 9th for Luke Cornder, 10th for Remy Samchik. Iskender Solfikari and Kasper Reipold both were up 15 places there, ahead of Alex Malota, Vladimir Vanikov, and Sebastian Latimaki. That was the top 15. 16th for Nikita Nikashov, an improvement of 12 places. Henry Domain was up to 17th. Alexander Dahlstrom used his good tyres to good effect, up to 18th. Roland Nagy and Max Endicott complete the top 20. Let's have a look then at some of the highlights from that one. Good start for Kalesia, not a good start for Harrison Mackie. Didn't get in the groove and lost a number of positions through turns 1 and 2. Out of the race straight away would go Lucas Konopka. Disappointment there for the K-Kart Racing home favourite. Luke Cornder early on had 2nd place, but it was Kinmark down the inside for that spot through turn number 11. Cornder would lose a stack of positions there and unfortunately was slipped down to 9th place. Coming through the order, though, was Alfie Slater. Alfie Slater had problems earlier on in previous races, some fresher rubber on his number 27 RFM machine, and he started picking his way through, overtaking the others one by one. Rocco Coronel there on Oliver Kinmark through turn 7. Slater took advantage of that one as well. Out of the race, a few laps in, we'd lose Archie Lovett, Maria Neto, Paul Andriotis, and Filippo Pancotti as well. Filippo Pancotti in a separate incident to this one. Archie Lovett, the first of 2 retirements for Forza Racing, which is not good news for them at all, having a really difficult weekend. Harrison Mackie on the attack, knew that every single position he could get out there on the road would result in points. In the end, Mackie would fight back to 8th place. There is where we lost Filippo Pancotti with a few laps to go. Here was the key move from Alfie Slater down the inside into turn number 5. He would pull away. Coronel down the inside of Kalesia as well. Kalesia, learning from problems yesterday through that part of the course, would score well in 5th place. This was the moment, though, for Alfie Slater. My goodness me! How crossed up was Alfie Slater there on the last lap? This is the angle that we saw first that didn't do justice as to just how much of an angle of attack Alfie Slater had there in the final corner. Takes his first win of the weekend. Little thumbs up there to Rocco Coronel to say, yep, that was one for the cameras. And 50 points for Alfie Slater there. But bit of a heart in the mouth moment there, right at the end of that one. Good stuff from Groups A and C. All of those will have one race to go. Let's head down to Anthony Jordan, who's in Parc Fermé.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Yes, down here in Parc Fermé with our race winner from that one, Alfie Slater. Alfie, brilliant race from yourself. Tough weekend so far. This is the best result for you over the weekend. But firstly, I want to talk about that last lap incident between yourself and yourself into turn 11. What happened there? The car just looked like it ran out of control.
No, it wasn't a kart. It was me. I made a big mistake on the last lap. Honestly, I thought I spun out and lost it. Went through the left-hander, bit faster than usual, dropped a wheel on the right, got very crossed up, had a big moment, saved it somehow, and thankfully I had a pretty big gap, so, well, an okay gap, so I could hold it. But yeah, it was a good race, and I'm happy with the result.
Let's talk about this weekend as well. It has been a challenge, you know, difficult conditions, wet then dry, wet then dry. It's dry now, the sun is shining. What do you reckon you could do for the rest of the weekend here? Do you feel like you can do good work in the super heats and maybe even get to the final?
Yeah, obviously the first two heats were tough. First one, I obviously had a crash, got it started, was pretty fast after that. Second one, just never been here in the wet. It was just a big experimenting session. Third race, crash, which was out of my hands, but you know, stuff happens. And I'm excited for what happens this weekend, because coming to this weekend, I knew I had the pace, and I definitely knew I was fast enough. Just little bits, little mistakes, but once I put it together, I'll be up there, and I expect to be making up loads of positions in the super heat, and hopefully getting in a decent position for the final and seeing what I can do from there.
Yeah. Well, we look forward to seeing what you can do in those races. But right now, this is the first step of going towards those. A race win in the qualifying heats is what you needed. We wish you the best of luck for the rest of the weekend.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. Well, there you go from Alfie Slater. Even some highly qualified drivers can make those little mistakes during the races. Andrew, let's head back over to you with the next race.
Indeed. Well, you've got to think the honesty is good there from Alfie Slater. That was one on him, but he saved it and he got home to take a great victory. Next race, it's A versus C qualifying heat for OK, the senior category. I've been looking forward to this one quite simply because you've got the two drivers who were top of the table after round 3 in the intermediate classification. This is the one where they face off. Jindřich Peschel on pole position, Matheus Morgado also on the front row. This could be the race that decides who ends on top of the intermediate classification for OK here today, and more crucially, who takes the 25 championship points on offer for being first. It would be 22 for second place, 19 for third, dropping 2 points all the way down to 9th place, and then a point further down all the way down to 15th. So it could be quite a key one, not just in the story of the round, but in terms of the championship as well. You've got some other big hitters in this one as well, including the likes of Joe Turney, Gabriel Gomez as well. Gomez looking back on form after a difficult Friday. Of course, CRG do seem to have found something overnight here in Slovakia. And you can't rule out the likes of Andrea Dupe and Freddie Lloyd in there as well. Jakub Kamenik as well will be looking for good results. And hopefully Murilo de Roca can not have any problems in the pre-grid, as we saw in the previous race, and start from the third row of the grid. Beautiful conditions here at the moment at the Slovak Karting Centre. It's a lot fresher out there than it was yesterday and early this morning, where it was quite humid. You could feel there were thunderstorms in the air, but everyone enjoying their weekend here for round 3 of the Champions of the Future Euro Series for 2024. Point situation in OK at the moment. Remember, it's Kyriel that's on top at the moment with 180 points, 154 for Lindblom and Drummond for their top 3 spots. Ramicas and Montero completing the top 5, but as we stressed, that is all about to change with this next race. Morgado and Peschel are the best positioned drivers of this next group in that intermediate classification. At the moment, they hold 7th and 8th places. Here's your grid then for the next race. Jindřich Peschel for ASD Monster K Factory Team starts on pole position. Matheus Morgado alongside on the front row. Andrea Dupe and Freddie Lloyd on row 2. David Cosma Christopher and Murilo de Roca on row 3. Jakub Kamenik and Joe Turney go from the 4th row of the grid. Then it's Guy Albag and Jimmy Elias on row 5. Elias has been in very good form so far this weekend. Tom Dussol and Miguel Costa go from row number 6. Louis Iglesias and Gabriel Gomez form up an all CRG row 7. Noah Wolf has had a tough weekend. He's on row 8 alongside Alphonse Meertenen for this one. Ian Eichmans and Maris Latke start on row 9 ahead of Tame Soleil and Dominic Simek. They complete the top 20 on row 10. Ludovico Busso and Stylianas Kolovos start on row 11, and it's Hugo Reinmetz and Marcus Shilkunos on row 12. It's a 25 carts field completed by Eva Bastera. Are we going to see more heroics from the Polish driver who had an inspired tyre call yesterday in the final race on Friday? Went from the back to second place and also did very nicely in round 3 earlier on today. There are your live points. Rillards P1, 180 points. Current lead is a strong one, 26 points over Lindblom and Drummond. Ramick is there in 4th. Montero and McLaughlin completing the top 6, but it's then just outside of that top 6, Morgado and Peschel. At the moment, the deficit for Morgado to Rillards is 42 points. So if Morgado took 2nd place or higher, he'd move back up ahead of Rillards. For Peschel, the deficit is 44 points. So only a win would move Peschel clear of Rillards, who's currently in that lead. Anthony Jordan rejoins me in the box.
Indeed.
And yeah, looking forward to this one. This should be good.
It should be good, yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing what Peschel can do here. And like you alluded to there, a win means he takes the lead of the intermediate classifications. That he will know. He will know that. The team will have said, right, this is what you need to do. You need to make sure you do it because it will really help us out. I reckon he's going to really push strong on this one. Field really nice and slow. They need to slow down a little bit more now. There's the red line, so there's no overtaking allowed at this point until obviously getting into your position. We're still single file though. Something tells me we might be going around again unless by a miracle they're in formation. They're in formation. Are we going? Yes, we are. We are green flag and racing. Good to see. And it's a great start from the inside row. And Peschel sweeps to the outside. Crucially, didn't switch sides this time like he did earlier on. He stayed on this side. 3 wide in the background as they go through the pinch point of turn 2. But crucially, a good getaway for the front drivers. Peschel leading the way. Andrea Dupe still there in 2nd place. Where did Matthias Morgado go? He's down to 3rd place. But this is still a good spot for him, even though the fact that he's under pressure from the Czech Republic of David Kozma just behind, who's had a really good start.
Yeah, really good start for the Romanian. I just wonder with the psychological aspects of this round, Peschel starting on the inside there, was that an aspect of I do not want to have Matthias Morgado down the inside of me into turn 1. I want to be able to control that one. You could see how he sweeps across from drivers left to right to control Morgado's start. He knows how important this race is in the context of this phase, and it seems to have worked so far. He's got a 0.3 second lead over Andrea Dupe. Morgado holding there in 3rd place, but it's about 6/10 further back, and he's having to deal with David Kozma, Christopher at the moment, and Joe Turney as well. Good start for Turney, up 3 spots to 5th.
Yep, certainly is. Well, continuing on with this pace, and that pace is extending that gap. Now 0.3 of a second ahead of Dupe, but Dupe will certainly make sure he tries and sticks with it, and had a good race earlier on, did Andrea Dupe, so, you know, he's looking for another good one here. Morgado is fading a little bit here. He's there in 3rd place. He's dropping off the back of the 2 in front and is becoming under pressure here from Kozma. Turney is up the positions now as well. De Rocca is there, Kamenek, Albag, they've all moved through. Albag's actually dropped down to 10th place now. Gomez and Iglesias, oh wow, okay, CRG duo, Gabriel Gomez and Louis Iglesias, they've got together. They are a force to be reckoned with. There they are right behind them.
Well, it's not the first time we've seen across the course of 2024 that the CRGs have been working together. Murillo De Rocca, fastest driver out on circuit on the 51.711. There are your live points. So Peschel at the moment would have a 6-point advantage over Rillards going into the final round of heats. Morgado would only be 1 point back from Rillards at this stage. He knows if he can get through, if he can find a way past Dupe. It's all side by side there. with Turney and DeRocca. DeRocca fighting back, and that's going to open up things for Kamenik.
Oh,
And Turney's
Jenny.
out on the grass. He saved it. My goodness me. Mighty moment there for Joe Turney. Not the first time we've seen a kart out in that region of the circuit. Near contact. I think there was contact again with DeRocca through as well. Here come the CRGs. Here comes Gomez. Here comes Iglesias up through the field. Great positioning, though, there from Jakub Kamenik. Picking his way through, not forcing his way into 5th place there, but taking advantage of mistakes from others to gain those positions on track.
Yeah, nice stuff there, and well, unsighted there, and moments here. Is that Ian Eichmann's making his way through? It is. Eichmann's getting through on, I think, Guy Albag, who's just unfortunately getting bullied in the background there and is being squeezed out of the pack. I think he's tumbled down the order a little bit. He's gone down to 11th place, so now he's still in a good position. Who dropped down there? I think it may have been DeRocca. DeRocca has tumbled down the order as well, but action has happened thick and fast in that back group. Gomez is all good. They've been split up, though. Elias has gone between the two of them. Here's a replay of what happened there off the track. Oh, it's just, I love that camera. I absolutely love it. There was, okay, so a bit of contact there between the two of them, and I think that just sped up Turney there to go wide on the grass there. You can see it's unsettled the kart, and yeah, just put a wheel there, and unfortunately the track just disappears from you underneath your feet. But this was the moment here, down the inside. Nice change there, but I think unsighted a little bit there was the DPK kart there of Murilo DeRocca. So unfortunately, yeah, he just got squeezed out there just a little bit too much.
A lot going on down into turn number 1. We're on lap number 6. Peschel leads now by 7/10 of a second. As Hugo Raumets has got a problem. It's been a tough weekend for the Estonian. Still got drive, but no speed, of course. And I would expect the 219 to pull into the pits shortly. Jimmy Elias, now the fastest driver out on circuit, 51.233. A strong weekend so far for the Frenchman. He's up to 8th place now in this one for Victory Lane. He's just tucked up behind Gabriel Gomez. He's actually split the CRG train of Gomez and Iglesias. So look out for those three in the second half of this race. What is the pace like across this top 3? So Peschel last time around a 51.2. 51.3s for Dupe, Magato and Cosmo Christopher. Turney a 51.5. So it's a lot of stretching out a little bit at the front of the order at this moment. Change for 6th place. Gomez has got past Kamenik, has been followed through by Elias. So Elias is now up to 7th place. This feels like one of those races, Anthony, where your front runners, I don't think anyone's gone for new tyres in this one.
No.
They're just taking it calm, knowing that there's still a very important set of races to come today. Yeah,
I think this is just let's get this race done race. You know, it's just get these karts to the end, just pace it through, don't fight too much, just look after the kart and just check this one off the list a little bit. Replay there of our man Hugo Raumets, and is that kart just breaking down, or is that him recovering back? It is him recovering back to Parc Fermé. Unfortunately, his race over. That is a big shame for the Estonian, isn't it? So,
yeah, he's had a tough weekend, not the first retirement, and you know, their team, not the biggest team in the paddock, but fully committed to the cause. They will have an opportunity, I would think, through into the super heats, but it's going to be towards the back of the super heats tomorrow. Of course, 72 drivers racing through to those super heats, which you will be able to follow on your broadcast platform of choice. Great to have you with us here in Slovakia for round 3 of the Champions of the Future Euro Series for 2024. That is all tomorrow. All the super heats, and of course the all-important finals to decide things here in Slovakia. End of lap number 8 then. Peschel still leads. Dupe is holding there at about 0.8 of a second. Now here's an interesting prospect, Anthony. Joe Turney versus Gabriel Gomez. Now, where have we seen that before?
Well, I've said it once, I'll say it again. I'm sure there's no love lost between these two drivers. And, you know, they had a dramatic end to their season at the end of 2023. 2024, of course, a brand new season. Bygones be bygones, and these two, I think, are just looking to practice. Just practice, learn what they need to do, of course, this is a pre-round to 2 weeks' time. You know, we're back here again, and, you know, a lot of data is going to be collected from this one. Everyone is in their own race right now, and, you know, don't get me wrong, this is still a championship, and the drivers are still fighting for these championships, but so many of them use this as a great testing platform.
We do indeed. So we're on to lap number 10, Jindřich Peschel. Like I said, this is such an impressive performance from Jindřich Peschel. Under such pressure, a lot of expectation on him this weekend. We were speaking to him yesterday how, you know, he lives relatively close to this circuit. This is arguably his home circuit on the calendar for 2024. He just continues to rise to the occasion. His lead is a full second now over Andrea Zuppe, and it's closing up a bit here in this battle for second place, with Matthias Morgato closing in on the Italian ahead of him, and likewise David Cosma-Christopher trying to close in on the former world champion. There are your live points. Not much change over the last few laps. Still Peschel at the moment taking the advantage over from Rillarts. Morgato P3, Turney P4. We will also, Anthony, start thinking about what this means in terms of you know, line up for the super heats tomorrow. Now, I would say we talk about a lot of circuits where you'd rather start third versus second. Third's still a very good spot to start with, but starting on that outside of the front row, I don't think is as much of a disadvantage here at the Slovak Karting Centre as perhaps it is at other circuits.
Well, I think the way that this track runs down in towards turn number 1, if you think about it, the track actually kinks to the right first, and then it turns left. So if you're on that inside, you feel like you're kind of getting, you take a straight line, that outside line then comes in on you. You feel like you get squeezed a little bit on that inside. So sometimes that inside row a little further back doesn't actually play into your hands at the start of these races. So, you know, there you can see that right-hand kink before they go through the left-hander, but that right-hand kink isn't a corner. The left-hander is turn 1. So, you know, it's tricky for the drivers at the start of this race to really plan themselves, and that's why we've seen so many comings together at that corner as well. So, you know, it is a shake-up here. Right, Andrea Zuppe, I think, could be under some pressure here now. Morgato has closed in just that little bit. The gap is 0.3 of a second. It was much larger than this a few laps ago. So I think Morgato may be in a position here to potentially go for second place. But Jindřich Peschel in the lead. We said it at the start, we knew what he needed to do, which was win this one, and that is exactly what he's doing. 6 points right now. He leads the intermediate classification against Kai Rillarts, but Rillarts is out again later on today, so Rillarts has got an opportunity to close back in. So is Peschel. Peschel's back out as well later on, so we just don't know where they're going to be. But right now, he's putting the ball very firmly back into Kai Rillarts' side of the court.
What he is doing, I think, in this race, of course, is getting a win over some really, really big names and showing the form that Peschel has got this weekend is very strong. There's been a change, curious change for 6th place. Luis Iglesias has got ahead of Gabriel Gomez.
Interesting. Yeah, not too sure what has caused that one. So Iglesias will need to fight a little harder there, because he needs to close in on Joe Turney in this final stage of the lap. But I don't think it's going to be enough, because Jindřich Peschel crosses the line and he takes a qualifying heat win here at Slovakia. A superb effort for him as he now takes the lead of the intermediate classification going into the latter half of the second half of the day. Andrea Zuppe takes second place ahead of Matthias Morgato. Now Cosma finishes in P4 ahead of Joe Turney. Luis Iglesias finishes in P6 ahead of Gabriel Gomez. Jakub Kamenek finishes in 8th place ahead of Guy Albag, and Tom Dussel rounds out the top 10. Well, Jindřich Peschel there, he'll be happy with that. Makes his way back to Parc Fermé. Here's a look then at the intermediate, well, the provisional classification at the end of that one. Qualifying Heat A versus C. We've done the top 10. Marilla de Roca finishing in 11th place ahead of fellow countryman Miguel Costa. Thames Soleil finishes in 13th place ahead of Ian Eichmans, and Noah Wolf in the top 15. Stilianos Kolovos finishes in 16th place ahead of Ludovico Busso. Marcus Shilkunas finishes in 18th place. Ivo Estrada finishing in 19th ahead of Alphonse Mittinen. Marios Latke ahead of Freddie Lloyd, Dominic Simic, and then the two retirements, Jimmy Elias and Hugo Ryametz. Unfortunately, out of the race in the relatively early stages of that race as well. Big shame for those drivers. Once again, big names struggling here at the Slovakia ring. And so many more drivers having a great weekend. And this young driver here is one of those drivers having a really good weekend. Union Special, pole in qualifying, and now a qualifying heat win as well to add to many more over the season so far. Here's the highlights from that one. Union Special, great start for him, covering off Morgato there, just slicing in front of his front nose, denying him the opportunity to get alongside. You can see the drivers 4 wide in the background there as they whiz through turn 2 the first time. Big use of that curb there. Again, that camera is earning its overtime in these stage of the weekend. There, Murudaroka, unfortunately, just getting tangled up there with Joe Turney. Turney getting squeezed down and bumped it onto that grass area there. Amazing kart control to bring it back onto the circuit, but again, just losing out on that one position. Down the inside would go Jakub Kamenek in towards turn 1, and then, well, Murudaroka trying to follow suit as well. More contact between the two of them, as then Gabriel Gomez and Luis Iglesias started to make their way through the field as well. The two CRGs working together. You just saw there in the background as well, one more coming through. There, Hugo Raimetz, unfortunately, a retirement for him in the race. He would make it back into Parc Ferme, but only 2 laps into the race. That is not a result you will have wanted. Down 9 laps at the end of that one. Latter stages of the race, big sends once more from the CRG drivers. Big sends again all the way throughout the field, but Tom Dussel there making a good run. But it would go the way of Jiří Peschel. He now takes the lead of the intermediate classifications by 6 points ahead of Kai Rillarts, but both Kai Rillarts and Jiří Peschel will both be back out on circuit later on. So we still do not know who is going to be leading the intermediate classifications going into the end of the day, which certainly makes it very exciting for everyone here at the venue. We just don't know who's going to be starting on pole for those superheats and, of course, those finals later on in the weekend. You can catch those live tomorrow if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or motorsport.tv. We're ready down in Parc Ferme. Andrew Mather, it's over to you.
Thank you, Anthony, here with Jiří Peschel. That's a really, really good race, well controlled. Talk me through it.
Yeah, for me, you know, well, Morgato was first until this point in the driver's standings right now. So all I needed was a good start and then try to pull away as much as possible. And then in the end, maybe save the tires a little bit, which worked really well. And yeah, really happy with the speed so far. I hope we have a good last heat to keep that pole position for tomorrow.
You've been changing back and forth in terms of where you've started from pole position. That time you went for the for drivers left, for the inside. What was the thinking behind that, as opposed to earlier on?
Well, yeah, we just wanted to try in dry how it works when you start on the outside, because the first corner is quite fast, and maybe also like you have the start-finish line and you go a little bit right and then into the first corner. So if you start on the outside, you go just straight. On the inside, you don't need to turn right. So yeah, I think it worked really well. But also now on the inside, I don't see a big difference. But yeah.
Races coming up. Could be thunderstorms in the air. You know this part of the world very, very well. What are your thoughts going into the final round?
Well, of course we have better speed in the dry. Maybe if it's wet, I don't know. I hope it's gonna be dry. Otherwise, I still think we can keep that top 3 in the heat.
Good stuff. Well, Jiří, well done. A great performance yet again. Congratulations on a great win. We'll catch you later on.
Thank you.
Anthony, back up to you in the box for the next race.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Indeed, yes, next race coming up very, very soon. It will be the OK Junior qualifying Heat D versus E coming up next. And I've got to say, I'm just writing down quite a few notes in this commentary box because, well, my goodness, if there was ever a qualifying heat to throw a new set of tyres on, apparently everyone got that memo because I'd say about 80% of this grid has deployed a brand new set of tyres, and all of them choosing to go for the right-hand side of their kart. And, well, yeah, I won't stress, it is a good chunk of the grid, so I hope our graphics guy in the production truck has had his Weetabix, because he's going to need to get a wiggle on with this one. So many drivers have deployed those new tyres. Drivers making their way out onto the circuit. Let's quickly take you through that starting lineup then. And it starts with Arjen Kraling and Christian Costura on that front row, both brand new set of tyres on the right-hand side. Asher Osteen and Jus Mulder, both of them on the second row of the grid. Brand new tyres, right-hand side. Noah Baglin, Devon Waltz on row 3, only Baglin on the right-hand side. Then it's Branislav Rentka and Philippe Planeta on row number 4. Both of them, brand new set of tyres on the right-hand side. Kire Fairhan and Daniel Kelleher, they go from row 5. They ran out the top 10. Bosco Arias and Mariano Lopez go from row 6. Both brand new set of tyres on the right-hand side. Dean Hugendorn and Nicholas Schaufler, they go from row number 7. Hugendorn going for the fresh set on the right-hand side. Anning Nostiaitis and Lev Krutalov go from row 8 ahead of Klara Kowalczyk and Kanishka Rao. Rasmussen from Lennon, Bruno Greek from Martinez, Rousseau from Peldis. They go for the next 4 rows of the grid, and all 8 of those drivers have gone for a brand new set of tyres on the right-hand side. Then row 13, we would have seen Felipe Rice on row 13, but he is missing from the grid, so Jacopo Martinez is on his own on the 13th row, the same as Martin Lichtner. He is also missing from the 14th row of the grid. Zhang Jose starts on that 14th row with a brand new set of tyres on the right-hand side. And the final row of the grid on row 15, it's Mats van Rooyen and Florentine Hattemer. And take a guess, brand new set of tyres on the right-hand side for those drivers on the 15th row of the grid. So basically, everyone saw everyone doing it, and everyone said, right, let's deploy it now. So basically, this race might not mean anything. It's a bit null and void for everyone who's gone for that brand new set, because everyone's in the same boat. Clouds looming once again over the circuit, and again, we'll keep an eye on that rain radar. There is the qualifying heats at the moment, the intermediate classifications. Kostoya leading that one at the moment after Mackie not having the results he will have wanted in the previous race. He tumbled down the order in his previous race, his first loss of the weekend. But into the tram lines we go. Are we going first time around? We are indeed. Great start from Kraling. Look at him hold on to that line there. Watch Asher Osteen as well. He's there. The Prema of Baglin gets squeezed a little bit, but he's still in position though, down into P4. There's yellow flags at turn number 1. I think there's now going to be yellow flags at turn number 2. There were so many carts piling into each other there. And there you can see the 99 is off the circuit. That is Mariano Lopez, who has got a brand new set of tyres on the right-hand side, but unfortunately will not get to use them much in this race. Race continuing, and there you can see Arjen Kraling with a brand new set of tyres on the right-hand side, leading the way. So nicely done for all of them as they head down in towards turn 11 for the first time, in towards 12, Baglin to the inside of Asher Osteen and moves up. Now here comes the DPK coming through. I think Bosco Arias has had an absolutely amazing start. He is up into P5, 6 places gained in this early stages. The same for Dean Hugendorn, 7 places. He's in P6 off the track there, and broken is the 110. That is Florentine Hattemer, who had deployed a brand new set of tyres as well, is also out of this race. The same for, I think, well, yeah, we know about Felipe Rice and Martin Lichtner. Both of them did not start the race, but change here at the front. Christian Konstoya now leads the way, and yes, you guessed it, he's got a brand new set of tyres on the right-hand side.
And he's putting them to great effect right now. Baglin down the inside as well for P2. Gets past Kraling. Oh, for Kraling, it's all going wrong now, because here comes Bosco Arias in the number 31 to the end side. Dean Hugendorn. We've not seen too much of Dean Hugendorn so far this weekend, but that's a good move by the Dutch driver up into 4th place. Oliver Rasmussen continuing a drive through the field is now up to 7th place. Lev Krutalov as well, he started the weekend so well indeed, with a great scrap against Kenzo Craigie in the very first race on Friday. He's up to 6th place as well. That's a gain of 10. New fastest lap of the race, James Anagnostiaitis, 52.810. It's down the inside, goes Hugendorn. Wow. It's all over the curve. That's not going to work. Gains 1, loses 1 in the space of a couple of seconds. Arias is through, gains 2 out of all of that. Krutalov as well. past Kraling. It's not going well at all for the German.
Hugendorn needs to be careful in moves like that to just see the sparks that came out from underneath. I'd love to see a replay of that one really slowed down because the sparks that came out from underneath him, he's got to be careful because, of course, where are those sparks coming from? They're coming from the sprocket. They're coming from the chain, hitting the curb. And how many times have we seen a kart hit a curb and the chain says, no more, thank you.
We saw that at Valencia earlier on in the season with a number of drivers over the big curbs there. The curbs here not quite as big as what we've seen, but there are some quite big cuts on the inside of them. Let's have a look at it again from Dean Hugendorn.
Right
there
down.
we go. Oh, that is right in danger zone, right on the far side lip of the concrete curbs. And I agree with you there, Anthony. Dean Hugendorn is a little bit of a lucky driver right now. Look at where the chain would be, right on the line of the far side of that red and white curb. Yeah, he's got away with one there.
He has very much got away with that one. More action here. Schaufler down the inside, making his positions well known there. Asher Osteen has tumbled down the order a little bit. Redke has got up into P9 as well. Kraling's gone down to 7th. So that is a big shame for him. He was leading the way at the start of this one after starting on pole. So that is a big shame. Kostoya, though, in the lead. Fastest laps of the race. Well, he's breaking away a gap here. 1.3 seconds clear from Baglin, who's under pressure from Bosco Arias, who's now up to 3rd place, ahead of Dean Hugendorn. So Hugendorn, yes, he's got away with that one, and he's fighting for a top 3 spot here as well. But Bosco Arias looking very strong here. So many positions gained, 8 places gained. He is really fighting with this one here. Lev Krutulov just behind as well. He is also up several positions, 11 positions in total. Martinez as well, 13 places gained. He's up into P13 also. There's been some really big movers. And actually, Hugendorn's just received a warning flag. Now, I suspect it is for that moment at there. You know, he was off the track. He came back on. Bit of contact made. It was a forceful overtake, I'd say. But I'm not saying that's what it is for. But, yeah, it's most likely.
Yeah, most likely indeed. He has got the fastest lap of the race right now, 52.578, which is good news. If he can get through, get some clean air, he could start to negate things in terms of any post-race penalty changes. We're into the second half of this race. 6 laps, or the 6th lap is where we are at this moment. Kostoya continuing to lead by 1.5.
Oh, here we go.
As here goes Arias down the inside for 2nd place. Another decisive move from the young Spaniard there. Goes past Noah Baglin, and Hugendorn still there as well. Krutulov continuing to go strongly, is up in 5th place right now. You can see the red and white Porsche Racing machine just behind. Nicholas Schaufler's gained a spot as well, has got past James Anaglostiadis for 7th place. And Schaufler continuing this good run of form. I really like the look of how Schaufler's putting these races together. Had a difficult time in that tricky time qualifying where traffic management was so key, but also so hard to get right. He's got himself up to 4th place now in the intermediate classification, has Nicholas Schaufler. That's not a bad spot to be. If it was to finish like that, that would be the outside of the front row for Superheat number 2 tomorrow. Here on lap number 7, though, Kostoya looking to extend his lead at the top of the intermediate classification. This has been a very strong run.
Certainly has, but Schaufler, like you were just talking about there, he's in a position to gain even more places on this one because his joint's on 178 points with Mackie at the moment, but because Mackie out-qualified Schaufler, he's obviously ahead, even though they're on the same points, but one more place and then Schaufler is ahead of that one. So, and look at this, it's not like he's short for spaces here. He's got the opportunity here to get past the driver just in front of him, which is Lev Krutulov, and that will do it. Lev Krutulov, warning flag. So, well, that's done there, and he's passed him as well. So that is 2 for 1, I would say, for Nicholas Schaufler. That will now bump him up ahead of Harrison Mackie and in the top 3 of the intermediate classification. So Schaufler, really a driver that we've not been speaking about much this weekend, sits in the top 3, which, again, I love how this point structure system works.
I think what's been really impressive for me this weekend for Nicholas Schaufler, and in the weeks leading up to this as well, when I've seen him race, he's a fighter, he's a battler. He doesn't let his head drop when he does have a qualifying session like he had on Friday. And he's got really good racecraft. You know, he had a difficult time earlier in the season when we visited Valencia. You know, he was one of the front leading drivers through events in the qualifying heats and didn't quite deliver in the finals. He learnt from that, I thought, and he's turning into a very, very accomplished racer at this level.
Yeah, certainly is. Well, again, he's battling with Arden Kraling. I mean, Schaufler could make even more places in this one, actually, as we watch this battle for third place. Baglin and Hugendorn fighting away. Here comes Baglin to the inside, and Hugendorn's going to try and get the switch over here. Not going to be able to do so as we go on to the final lap of this race. Well, Baglin's going to go very defensive here, actually. He sweeps to the inside here, compromises his exit just a little bit. It keeps Hugendorn in contention here. Hugendorn, remember, does have that warning flag, so any position he does gain here, well, it's going to be at a loss here. So Baglin doesn't really need to defend this one. He could just let Hugendorn go and stay with him, and he knows he would get that position anyway, but he is going to fight it, and he's going to worry about now Kraling and Schaufler closing in just behind. So we'll see how this unfolds. Much tighter line there in towards turn 10. Defensive line in towards 11. Can Hugendorn get it round the outside here? No, he can't. I don't think he's going to find a way through here. Christian Costoya, he's going to see the checkered flag. He'll like that one. That is another win for his name across the line. Bosco Arias will take second place. There was no change between Baglin or Hugendorn. They have done what they've needed to do.
And that, provisionally, of course, should be pole position for Christian Costoya, because he led at the end of round number 4 of the heats in OK Junior. Look at the lead he has. Harrison Mackie is the closest competitor, and even if Mackie got a win and another 50 points, that would move up to 228. He'd be 7 short of Costoya. So again, stress the provisional, but that is a very well done job by Christian Costoya. Wins by 1.8 seconds clear of Bosco Arias. Noah Baglin in third. Dean Hugendorn fourth. Ian Kraling fights back to P5. More good points for Nicholas Schaufler. Sticks himself very much in the mix. Is currently third in the intermediate classification with that 6th place in that one. Asher Oxteen in 7th place. Good response from James Adagnostiadis, P8. Lev Krutilov and Oliver Rasmussen also in the top 10. Jacopo Martinezzi, Bruno Gian Matteo Russo, Branislav Renka and Kara Furhand all in the top 15. Clara Kowalczyk holds in 16th place ahead of Devin Waltz, just faded away a bit there in 17th. Daniel Kelleher won't be happy with P18. Was ahead though of Zhang Helze and Mats van Rooyen completing the top 20. Ethan Lennon, Alex Martinez, Kanish Grau, Merrill Peldes and Just Mulder in the top 25. Real disappointment there for Mulder, down 21 spots. The last of the finishers was Philip Planeta. 2 retirements, and 2 did not start from that race. Mariano Lopez, Florentin Hattemer, both retired on lap 1. Felipe Rice and Martin Lickner did not take the start. There is your race winner, Christian Costoya, on a brilliant run of form so far this weekend. Puts himself onto 235 points from a possible 250. Let's have a look at how he did it. Back to the race start. Good one for Kraling. Oxteen as well there in 2nd place. Costoya fighting around the outside. There would be drama in the second half of the field through turn 1 and through turn 2. That is how we lost the number 99 of Mariano Lopez. Florentine Hattemer would also be out on lap 1. Noah Baglin on the attack down the inside of Oxteen for 3rd place there on lap number 2. This was the key move from Costoya. Nicely done, nicely controlled to take the lead away from Kraling. Kraling would then have a tough couple of corners. Baglin would get down the inside through turn 12. That would open the door for Bosco Arias to get through as well. Dean Hugendorn, having arguably the brightest race of his weekend so far, would take advantage as well. The likes of Schaufler and Anagostiadis would also be on the move. That was the big send from Dean Hugendorn down the inside of Kraling. That would allow Krutilov through as well. There would be a warning flag for Dean Hugendorn midway through the race. Anagostiadis, as we say, was also overtaking out there. That was him having a go at Kraling. Kraling would respond back through. In the end, Kraling would return to 5th place, had a much better second half of the race. Anagostiadis would be P8. Bosco Arias continues to impress in 2024. That was a move down the inside of Baglin for 2nd place. Nicholas Schaufler once again showed why he's had a good season so far and why he's such a strong championship contender and moved there up to 6th place. But it's Christian Costoya's day so far. A win, a second, a third, a win and another win is the record on track for Christian Costoya. And I should stress again, provisionally, we reckon that is enough points on the board to be P1. Let's head down to Anthony Jordan, who's in Parc Ferme.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Yes, indeed, here with our race winner from that one, Christian Costoya. That's 3 wins now under your name. And, well, it's been a good weekend for you so far. Tell us, how are you enjoying here at the Slovakia ring?
I'm enjoying a lot here at Slovakia. The first heat, we have a bit of not good conditions for us in the ring, but on this league is already good. But for me, all is getting better for super heat tomorrow. Now we are first in the standings, and we see tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow's going to be a busy day. You've got a main competitor in the likes of Harrison Mackie this weekend. He's been really quick. Is that a concern for you, or are you feeling confident that you could beat Mackie overall this weekend?
Yeah, of course, Mackie this weekend is very fast compared to the other weekends in the other races. But everything calm here, and let's do my best, and that's it.
Yeah. This weekend, again, lots of going to be happening. A lot of people preparing for 2 weeks' time, of course. But things going on this weekend with the weather. Do you feel like everything's just going your way? Do you feel like the setup that Paralin has given you, even though you haven't taken all the wins, do you feel like the setup they've given you has been enough still?
Yeah, my team is making all the best for me. I have thanks always to them. For me, it's a weekend that is go very good, and we see in 2 weeks the European that I am second in the championship, and maybe I can get some points.
Yeah, that's what you need. Well, congratulations, well done, Christian, and we'll see you out there later on in the weekend. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Excellent stuff there. Well, Christian Costoya, he'll be delighted with that one as he makes his way back off to his team. Andrew, let's head back over to you. Seniors coming up next.
Thank you very much, Anthony. Back here at the circuit, that is the end for the qualifying heats for Groups D and E and OK Junior. For the senior category, they've got their D versus E race coming up shortly. There's the rest of the timetable for today, taking us through to around 5:30 local time. These are the key races which will decide the grids for tomorrow and the super heats and the next opportunity to score championship points. It's still very much all in the balance, apart from that top position in OK Junior. The key to see in this next race, as we switch back to the senior category, Scott Lindblom and Lewis Francis on the front row of the grid, and they'll be looking to boost their positions. Remember, it's at the end of round 4. Jindrik Peschel on top on 186. Kai Rillet's on 180. Mateus Morgado 179. Joe Turney to 165. Lindblom is the highest ranked driver in this next race in the intermediate classification for the OK category. Drivers there waiting patiently in dummy in the pre-grid area. There is Scott Lindblom. He's had a really impressive weekend, stepping up here to the OK category with Fusion Motorsport. He's going to have a look and see what the tyre situation is. Quite a lot of new tyres being applied here to the drivers. In Lindblom's case, I think it's the left-hand side that he's gone for. The thing is, though, with most of the field applying new tyres, there's a chance here that those moves kind of cancel each other out. So nobody from the back of the grid, well, I say nobody from the back of the grid is going to be coming through here. They could very much well get their tyres switched on quickly, but the advantage they may have over the quantity of the field is arguably going to be reduced. It's more going to be those who haven't gone for new tyres who might be a bit vulnerable. The likes of Matt Corby, Jarizim Skulanov have not gone for any new tyres at all in this one. There is Lewis Francis, third last time out in Champions of the Future at Val d'Argenton. Had a very good time qualifying yesterday. Looking to just piece everything together, I think, so far in these qualifying heats races. But we're ready for the next one. It is the OK category, 13 laps, 15 kilometres to decide it for Groups D and E here. And this is going to be a key race in the story, not just of the round, but potentially in the championship as well. Not mentioned so far that Thibaut Ramekers is in this one, second in the championship standings as things are right now. We'll start on the second row of the grid. There he is in the 275. Let's take you through that full grid. It is Scott Lindblom and Lewis Francis on the front row, Thibaut Ramekers and Alexander Bondarev on row number 2, Dmitry Matviev and Vivek Kanthan on row number 3. Matt Corby and Elliot Kaczynski go from row number 4. Michael Adair and Alpak Soy go from row 5. Aaron Garcia and Xavier Avramidis start on row number 6. Andy Konsani and Radek Vavra start on row 7. Kasper Henriksen and Maximilian Rafalik start on row 8. Kian Buzar and Finn McLaughlin start on the 9th row of the grid. Then Gerasim Skulanov and Peter Stiller on row number 10. Jensen Graham and Tobias Pascoe start on row 11. Wojciech Zawruszka starts on row 12 alongside Nico Lachnalate. It's a 24-kart field. There you see some of the information regards tyre selection from what we've got as well here in the box. Lewis Francis, new tyres on the right-hand side. Interesting that he's gone the opposite way to Scott Lindblom, who's gone new tyres on the left-hand side of their karts. See across the course of the next 10 laps which one of those options is better. Anthony Jordan rejoins me in the box. Is it starting to feel a little bit more humid out there, mate? Do you
Humidity's kicking up into gear a little, I think, out there, yes, which, well, if you're any clued up on weather, what does humidity usually bring?
It normally means thunderstorms
or
some kind of precipitation on the way. We hope not, of course.
No. But like you say, we did have an almighty one last night, which was fantastic. I turned into a 10-year-old boy again, looking out the hotel window. Said, oh, look at the pretty lights. But there you can see Marshall's working hard there, making sure drivers staying nice and slow. Yeah, a lot of drivers deploying a brand new set of right-hand tyres on this one. One driver going for the left-hand side, which, as you said, was Scott Lindblom. Two drivers not going for any tyres at all, and that's Matt Corby and Gerasim Skulanov. They have not deployed, which they may have deployed them earlier on. I know Matt Corby definitely did deploy tyres earlier on, which is why they've not done it now. So now the rest of the grid has done it. Here we go then into the tram lines. Are we going this time? Yes, we are. Oh, it's a bit scrappy in that mid-pack there, but the rest of the field get away well. Scott Lindblom holds on to the lead in the inside line. Ramekers up into second place. That's a good start for him. Field comes through in towards third place. And again, everyone gets through. Oh, there's chopping and changing in the background there. Bondarev and Kaczynski getting wheel to wheel and a bit feisty there in the mid-pack. But crucially, it's Lindblom and Ramekers who lead the way. Dmitry Matviev is there in third, and he has had a very good start to his race as well.
Yeah, really good stuff once again from Lindblom and Ramekers there at the front of the field through and into turn 11 for the first time. And yeah, after a little bit of a negotiation in the middle of the pack, everybody has got through the first couple of sectors. Round to complete lap number 1. Scott Lindblom looking for a good middle phase of the race. This is where he struggled in the race before, still scored well, and as things stand, would take the lead in the intermediate classification, 9 points ahead of Thibaut Ramekers, but that would change if Ramekers got down the inside. Lindblom's gone too deep. He's made the mistake, and through goes Thibaut Ramekers. Well, that will be one of the easier overtakes that the Belgian makes in 2024. Scott Lindblom, he just went a bit too deep into turn number 3. Not mentioned it too much, but it's off camber through turn 3 and 4. So if you do push on, it's very difficult to mechanically bring the kart back, even in dry conditions. That opened up the door for Ramekers, and there's the effect. 1 point lead for Ramekers in the IC.
Matviev has gone through as well. He's got up into second place. Lindblom's gone down to third, and yes, he stayed there. Vivek Kanthan has closed in behind, so Kanthan's got another chance here of trying to close in for the drivers up ahead Michael Adair is there as well. Matt Corby under pressure from Aaron Garcia just behind. Alexander Bondarev is there. There's Canthan's first attempt. It's not worked out. Now Michael Adair is going to be on that rear bumper. Adair likes to go for the moves in towards turn 7, and he could line himself up for one here. Is he close enough? Yes, he is close enough. Big send down the inside, and as he gains one, is he going to lose one again as Matt Corby tries to fight back? But no, Corby gets swallowed by the pack there. That inside line just comes through, denies him the chance to get back into the inside, and Michael Adair sends it now. Canthan's going to retaliate through turn 12. Brilliant stuff.
I like that. That's two drivers both fighting hard but fair, both giving each other two options. You either turn in, we're both out of this race, or you let me through. And Canthan indeed returns the favour to Adair in that one, back into 4th place. There's the battle for 2nd place briefly on your screens. Look at this pack. Look at the 274 coming through the order. There, it's all going on.
Oh dear.
One kart, I think, has had a mechanical failure there. That very much looked like the end of things possibly for Maximilian Rafalik. And it's the AKM Motorsport driver. Well, it's good to see that he's safe and sound, but he's out of this race.
Yeah, you could just see the kart just die on the exit. The karts behind just loaded into the back of him, and that's not their fault. Obviously, they hit the power, so did he, but his kart didn't go and theirs did. So that is a big, big shame for the drivers who were caught out behind that. They would have lost quite a bit of time there on the field behind, who were able to slot through. Now it's all kicking off around Aaron Garcia and Finn McLaughlin's part of the track. There you can see Finn McLaughlin just in the background there. He's got the DPK of Aaron Garcia just behind. This battle, though, here on your screen, this is another one of the VDKs just up ahead. Matt Corby, who's got the likes of Alpak Soy and Andy Consani just ahead. Vivek Canthan now with the fastest lap of the race, is still right there behind Scott Lindblom and is starting to close in just that little bit.
Yes, indeed, but we've still got a good number of laps remaining in this one. Vivek Canthan, fastest of anyone through sector number 1, fastest of anyone through sector number 2. The young American is on the charge yet again. There's Elliot Kaczynski in the yellow helmet with the black details. Kart 211 for Ward Racing on the Tony Kart chassis. A decent run at the moment in P10. There's your race leader, Thibaut Ramakas, 3/4 of a second ahead of Dmitry Matviev. And a reminder, this result, as things stand, would put Ramakas into the lead of the intermediate classification, but only just. And in all reality, I don't think he'd be able to hold on to it through the course of the rest of the afternoon, because you've got Peschel, Rillarts, Morgato and Turney all in striking distance with one race each for each of them to go. But Ramakas can only do as well as he can on the points table, and right now he's doing just that. 199 points from a possible 250, and you never know what could happen in the 2 remaining races in this category.
No, exactly. It's still a long way to go in this racing. You know, we've still got another 2 races per category to go, so it is still going to be a tough fight for these drivers. But right now, they're just all doing what they need to do. It's that stage of the weekend now. Everyone's getting a little bit more fatigued after the end of today. Obviously, a lot of these drivers do get quite lengthy breaks in between these qualifying heats, but some of the breaks aren't actually that long if you think about it, because the way it works out, some groups go out with only 1 race in between 2 of them. Group A, for example, they're out next, and they were only out a couple of races ago, so they haven't actually got a lot of breathing time, some of the groups. So they do have to make sure that they're on their toes, the kart's ready to go, they're all thinking about that. It is such a tense part of the weekend, because it all falls down to this now, doesn't it, for the superheats?
I think if there are some thunderstorms coming in, they'll be quite happy with the races rattling along on schedule, just to get these ones done and get in before any precipitation comes in. We don't know if any precipitation is on the way, just to be absolutely clear of that, but that's more down to just how unpredictable the weather has been here this weekend. Here's your battle for 3rd place, going through 3rd and 4th places now. Scott Lindblom ahead of Vivek Canthan as we have a look at the rain radar, which would suggest that stuff is on its way of a heavy nature in terms of the rain.
There's a pink band there, and that means heavy. So, yeah, there we go. That might be something interesting in the next couple of races. So, yeah, let's get through these quickly then and make sure we miss out on that. But, yeah, right now, still, Vivek Canthan looking strong, and strong indeed he is, as he sends it down the inside of turn 12. on Scott Lindblom, and Lindblom there, he didn't fight that. He said, right, okay, go, let's work together, let's push on, let's see if we can close up to Matviev, who is breaking away at this point.
And Canthan's really got himself tuned in now. You know, he had those difficulties early with the overtakes, picked up a warning flag in one of his earlier races, right out on the curb on the exit of turn number 2 there. That move gets him up to 6th place in the intermediate classification. Now, was that Matt Corby? No, it's another one of the VDKs having a problem through turn 2 as well.
No, I think it was Matt Corby, because he's gone down to 20th place now.
That's not good news at all then for the driver flying the flag for Switzerland. Scott Lindblom's not giving this one up, Anthony. He's holding on there to the rear bumper of Vivek Canthan, and you know, one mistake from Canthan, we've seen it happen around this circuit so far. You know, think back to Alfie Slater in the junior race, nearly losing that race win. Lindblom's right there to take advantage of any problems should they befall the American ahead.
Yeah, exactly. We'll keep a close eye on all of these battles as they progress. We are on lap 10 of 13 at the moment. Ramekers is comfortable at the moment, 0.8 of a second clear. The gap is coming down a little bit. I'm looking at the sector times. They're identical at the moment, so it's not going to come down at a rate. There's a big send there down the inside from Andy Konsani on Alexander Bondarev. Huge moment through turn number 7. Bondarev allowed that. You could see there was no defensive whatsoever, but the speed he was carrying there in towards turn 7 was phenomenal.
It was. I just hope for Bondarev's sake that that's not the sign of a problem for the Prema Racing 249, because yeah, Konsani sailed on his way through there. Let's see as they go back onto the next straight whether everything is good for Bondarev in terms of power. And McLaughlin not too far behind as well, has gained 10 positions so far in this race, biggest mover of this field. Get himself into 7th place in the intermediate classification with this result right now. Still with a couple of races to go. Yellow flags out at Marshall Post 4. Can't quite make out exactly what that would be for. I'm
going to say that's possibly for Jensen Graham. He's gone down to 23rd. He's not come through the sectors. And it is the 272. That's Maximilian Rafalik's kart.
He was out on
he was out earlier on. But then the 282 now is also stricken out in the circuit. The Paralin Motorsport kart of Jensen Graham is out of this race. So, yeah, more dramas.
Yeah, I really feel for Jensen Graham. It has been a torrid weekend for Jensen Graham. It's 2 retirement, the last 2 races where Jensen Graham has not been able to see the checkered flag. Back with the battle for 6th place. Konsani still ahead of Bondarev there. And I tell you what, this is really worrying form for the rest of the field with Thibaut Ramekers, because he's now in the zone. He is going to get a 2nd race victory in a row, you would think, with 2 laps, or less than 2 laps to go here. Again, we've seen it across the course. We saw it at Val d'Argenton, of course, you know, when he struck through the field, took the round victory. He's getting ahead of steam again.
He certainly is. He's found his feet, I think is a good way of putting it here. Over the start-finish line he goes on to the final lap of this race, and Ramekers extending that lead now, 1.1 seconds, and yeah, like I say, 199 points versus Scott Lindblom's 192. It's still close, but the likes of other drivers as well who have been having good weekends as well. Finn McLaughlin is one of them. He's had, well, obviously a bad run, he's had a win, and he's had some good results, had bad results as well, but it's been a chop and changing one. Vivek Canthan also, he's had some good races all the way throughout this, the same as Morgato, but going into that final later on, my goodness, are we going to have some names who are going to be in that final?
And given the nature of how the track's racing this weekend, it's going to be very unpredictable. Thibaut Ramekers comes round the final corner and takes race victory, takes the lead in the intermediate classification as well for now. It's a 1.1 second win ahead of Dmitry Matviev. Vivek Canthan P3, Scott Lindblom and Michael Idir complete the top 5.
They certainly do. Andy Konsani finishes in P6 ahead of Alexander Bondarev. McLaughlin in 8th place ahead of Kaczynski. Then it is Aaron Garcia who rounds out the top 10 in that race. McLaughlin 10 places gained in that race. Alpak Soy finishes in 11th place ahead of Guillaume Bouzard, who gained 5 places in the race ahead of Radek Vavra. Peter Stiller ahead of Grayson Skulinov, 6 and 4 places apiece for them. They round out the top 15. Lewis Francis, not the race he will have wanted on that one. Down 14 places, unfortunately, the Australian finishing in P16. Avramides finishing in 17th place, also down a fair few places. Matt Corby, not sure what happened to Matt during that race, but he was right there at the front. Unfortunately, tumbled down, finishes in 18th place. Kasper Henriksen just behind. Wojciech Travuska finishing in the top 20 ahead of Nico Hanalate. Pasco Tobias finishing in 22nd place. The two retirements, Jensen Graham and Maximilian Rafalik. There on your screen, Thibaut Ramekers for VDK Racing. He is your race winner, and he now leads the intermediate classification. Of course, all of this provisional. We have still got some races to go in the senior category. Let's take a look at some of the highlights from that one. Again, good getaway initially for Scott Lindblom. Holds on to the lead of that one. Around the outside there, you can see Lewis Francis. He did not have the result he wanted. I think he gets caught out. There is a part where he gets caught out. Big hit of that curb on the opening lap, and through goes the likes of Matveev, Matt Corby all going through as well. They go on to first, second, third, and fourth. That was the lead change. Thibaut Ramekers down the inside, and that was quite a controlled move there on Scott Lindblom. This wasn't such a controlled move from Michael Adair down the inside of Ivic Canthan. Firm but fair between the two of them. No contact actually made. Canthan giving the space from Michael Adair. Would then return the favour, though, into turn 12 on the next lap and get back past Michael Adair. Then, of course, all the other drivers behind got a glimpse of wanting to close in. Grayson Skulinov was up there as well, trying to fight his way through the field, the same as Adam Garcia, also making good moves in that race. That was Finn McLaughlin, just having a little bit of contact there with the likes of the 307. I believe that is Radek Vavra, who is having a little bit of contact with there. There was the first retirement, unfortunately, the 272 of Maximilian Rafalik for the AKM Motorsport team, out of the race, which is a big, big shame for him. Later on, we would lose Jensen Graham from the race as well. This was Canthan down the inside of Lindblom. That would move him up into third place. He would stay there as well. Big send for Sodi Karts, Andy Kansani as well on Alexander Bondarev on the dying stages of the race. But the win would go the way of Thibaut Ramekers, and I think for so many out there, it is going to be a concern, because Ramekers has certainly found his feet now. He's found the pace. He leads the intermediate classification, and we'll head down to Parc Ferme now with Andrew Mather, and we'll see who he's got. Andrew, over to you.
Thank you very much, Anthony, here with race winner Thibaut Ramekers. Thibaut, a really solid, good afternoon of work, 2 race wins. You must be very pleased.
Yeah, I'm very happy because this day is really good, because yesterday was not so good, P10 and P6, but today I do 2 wins and P4, so I'm really happy.
What's made the difference today? Has there been anything on setup that you've changed?
I think the sun shines, so I'm better, and yeah, it's warming, so yeah, I think it's this.
And what we've seen through 2024 as well is you have this tendency to get stronger into the superheats, into the final. How confident are you ahead of tomorrow?
I'm confident because we have the speed, but we will see, because maybe tomorrow is raining, so, but I'm confident. Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, Thibaut, fantastic performance. We'll see where you end up in the IC, but right now, P1 with a couple of races to go. Well done, and see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thibaut Ramekers there, say P1 at the moment in the intermediate classification, could still be in first place, dependent on how the remaining races go here today. For now, though, Anthony, back up to you in the commentary box.
Thank you very much, Andrew, down there in Parc Ferme. Quite a trek from the commentary box to Parc Ferme, so I'm amazed that he's still got some breath out there as well. He's sprinting very quickly. Next race coming up, it is qualifying heat A versus F for the OK Junior category. Back to 10 laps, 11.5 kilometre race distance in this one. And again, it is William Kalija and Theo Battisti on the front row of this grid. There you can see the whole field lining themselves up ready to go in this one. Curious to see, have we got any intelligence of tyres out there? We do have actually quite a few. So yes, again, we'll probably go through those slowly through the race, telling you. But I can tell you right now that the top 6 rows have all gone for a brand new set on the right-hand side. It seems to be a common trendsetter. I think only 2 drivers so far this weekend have chosen to go for a brand new set on the left-hand side. Everyone else going for the right-hand side. That goes all the way to row 7. Filippo Pancotti on the 7th row of the grid has not deployed a newer set. I think he deployed them earlier on. Cosma, Domain, Malota, Duranov, Kerdal, Reipold and De Silva, they've all gone for a brand new set. Well, engines fire up, drivers make their way out to the circuit. See through the starting lineup for this one. William Collegia and Theo Battisti go from row number 1. Then it's Luke Cornder and Sunazi on row 2. Oliver Kinmark and Kenzo Craigie on row 3 ahead of Rocco Coronel and Drew Waltz on row 4. Vladimir Vanikov and Marco Gas go from row 5. They'll be ahead of Jarrett Clark and Scott Marsh on row 6. Filippo Pancotti and Matteo Rivals round out row number 7 ahead of Remy Samchek and Arthur Huang on row 8. Lucas Konopka and Bogdan Kozma go from row number 9. Emery Domain and Kosei Oguma rounding out the top 20 on row 10. Alex Malota and Efim Duranov go from row 11 ahead of Sebastian Letamaki and Yor Pokela on row 12. Amir Sabrov and Francois Cadel round out row 13 ahead of Kasper Reipold and Jagrat Troja. Alexander Dahlstrom, Gustavo da Silva and Max Endicott round out the 31-car field. There, a look at the rain radar, and again, oh, that is a big band of rain that it's on its way to the circuit now. That is, I think, coming from just behind the actual paddock building here. That is what we're commentating from. There is a look at that cloud, so you can see it there. And that is quite a large, threatening cloud on its way towards the circuit. But we'll see whether or not it just bypasses us or if it's going to hit us directly here at the Slovakia ring. We just do not know. And with only a handful of races, this one and 3 more to go, well, it might reach us for that last race. Andrew Mather joins me back in the commentary box again with the windswept look in his hair. That's how quick you're running, Andrew. It's amazing how not out of breath you are.
I know, it's a miracle. Yeah, those dark clouds that you see there on that shot, that's not the camera, and there's thunder and lightning in the background there as well. Yeah, the camera's not doing any tricks there in terms of exposure. That is pretty much as it looks to the naked eye, and hopefully it just stays over there. Stay over there, because we want to keep this really strong racing that we've had across the course of this afternoon going. Let's get ready for this next one in OK Junior.
Certainly so. Andrew, you're doing the rest of the interviews outside. Here we go then into the tram lines. Lights go green. Here we go down in towards turn 1. Bit shaky in the midfield there. One of the Paralins getting a little bit untidy to the inside. Everyone gets away. Some carts getting swamped into the back there. I think actually one of the Tony carts had a terrible start there, and I think that may have been Scott Marsh. Scott Marsh, I think, has tumbled down the order in this race. He will not like that at all, but crucially at the front, it's Collegia who holds on to the lead, and it's Forza Racing's Luke Cornder from Germany who's up into 2nd place. Rocco Coronel in 4th place, the Koski Motorsport car of Oliver Kinmark back there in 3rd place. All of these drivers have had such good starts over the weekend.
Yeah, I think the problem stemmed from Theo Battisti and Sunanzi getting a bit locked together there off the start. Kinmark down the inside of Cornder takes 2nd place through turn number 12. Round 2 complete, lap number 1 then. Let's count them through. And once again, it's William Collegia. We saw this in his previous race, got a good start. Now the question is, can he hold on to this race lead? Got a pack of 4 carts, nearly 5 carts behind, cruising in. Rocco Coronel's one of them there, looking for a way past Luke Corner's. Got to be patient, you'd think. No, he's going to go down the inside for 3rd place. Great move by Rocco Coronel, decisive down the inside. Vladimir Ivanikov has followed through as well. That is Coronel up to 3rd place, and poor Luke Corner is now out of the rhythm out of the groove and is losing more positions. That's Clark going through. Craiggie's gone through, and Sunanzi. So all of a sudden, Luke Cornet down to 8th.
Yeah, that is a big shame here. Filippo Pancotti's had a disaster as well. He has just tumbled down to 19th place on our timing screens here. So he has had a diabolical lap on that one around. Here, though, here's Rocco Coronel right on that rear bumper of Oliver Kinmark. And again, they are looking very strong here. Are we going to see teamwork here going in towards trying to close into Kalijah, or are we going to see Coronel just go for the move like he did? And is it going to be in towards turn number 5 here? No, he thinks against it. Kinmark takes the normal racing line.
I'd give it this rate that they will work together. No,
no, here he
work
goes.
Together. Down goes Coronel. No, I think Kinmark almost let him through there.
Yes, he did.
Just to get you to recognise, Coronel's probably got a bit more pace. Can close up to Kalijah in a more timely manner and then hopefully kick on up the road. Coronel has, in terms of race pace, been one of the fastest drivers in OK Junior this weekend. Hasn't always had the best of luck, of course. That's why he's a little bit further down the intermediate classification. But there's no doubting his speed right now. End of the third lap of this one. Kalijah leads from Coronel, Kinmark, Ivanov and Son. That is the top 5. Remy Samchuk is up to 9th place ahead of Thea Battisti. Battisti, after that problematic start, is holding again in the top 10. Remember, trying to qualify through into the top 36, into a final for the first time in Champions of the Future 2024. New fastest lap of the race, Anthony. It's a 52.583 from Sebastian Lettimaki.
Yeah, nice to see that. That's all the way down in 15th place as well. So again, it shows that the pace is there throughout the entirety of the field. Big closing 8. My goodness, those clouds in the background, they are threatening, aren't they? Big send down the inside. Nice change there for the Energy Course driver of Vladimir Vanikov, getting up into 3rd place ahead of Kinmark. Now you can see that they are going to try and work together. Here, though, Rocco Coronel has done the job. He has closed in on William Kalijah, and he has gone the charge here. Yellow flags, though. There is a driver off there. Now, who is that? Is that, I think, Matteo Rivals? Yes, it is. It looked like it was a Sodi race suit, and there is a driver down 17 positions in 31st place. Matteo Rivals from France, unfortunately, out of this one. But here, Kalijah, Coronel looking very strong, but I think Coronel is looking just that fraction stronger here.
He is, but I tell you who's looking even stronger than that. Vladimir Vanikov behind was very quick through sector number 1. Be interesting to see how these two play this over the next lap or so. If they work together, there's a chance they can break away from Ivanikov behind. I get the feeling that Coronel's going to need to make the move sooner rather than later. If he thinks he's got another 2/10 of pace in his pocket in clean air, he needs to strike before Ivanikov crosses that gap. In the Energy Course are currently sat in 3rd place. A little bit of a defensive line there from Kalijah into turns 3 and 4. These two have had plenty of races against one another so far this weekend. They had a little bit of a coming together yesterday in their first race. They had a better squabble of things earlier on this afternoon. Right now, yeah, I just think they're trying to make that gap back to Ivanikov in 3rd a little bit bigger if they can. There has been a warning flag, not to any of these drivers at the front. As Kenza Craigie down the inside, I think of Kinmark there for 4th place. It's the number 28 of Gustavo da Silva who's received that one.
Without sounding horrible to Oliver Kinmark here at all, he's been the punch bag of these runners so far in towards turn 12. He has just been passed left, right and centre, which is a big shame for him, especially after the starts he's been having. Really good starts for Kinmark. Now, Kalijah, was he a little bit defensive there on lap 7? Yes, he was, and Coronel reacts to that almost immediately. He could see that Ivanikov was closing in. Now, Kalijah knows that Ivanikov is there and instantly goes defensive again. So this is going to release Coronel. Ivanikov needs to get past really quick here if he wants to try and close in to Coronel, who's breaking away.
This could be the most important lap of this race. If Coronel can break off the front, he's done most of the hard work on the way to victory. Kalijah's got good pace still, though, at this stage of the race. He's going with the Dutchman at the end of lap number 7. Ivanikov has broken across now. He's just got to bide his time I feel. Just wait for his moment to overtake. Kenzo Craigie charging along. Is this going to be another one of those races from Kenzo Craigie where he's strong in the latter stages? He's gained 2 places so far in this one, up to 4th. Also gaining spots out there. Alex Malota's having a go at trying to get himself up the IC. He's up 9 places now to 12th.
Here he
Likewise,
goes.
it's down the inside goes Ivanikov. Key move. Gets 2nd place off of Kalija there. This is the opportunity now for Rocco Coronel. There is a gap. He's got to go. He's got to pedal hard to get away from this chasing 3 before they get themselves reorganised and start closing that gap down.
They certainly do. Well, again, as they make their way into the final corner of the track, Gar sees a warning flag to his name. As we can see there, battles happening in the background. Sunna Z past Kinmark as well. Corners dropped down to 10th. Domain up to 9th. Samchek up to 8th place as well. Oh, bit of a moment there on the curb for Ivanikov. Kalija could have an opportunity here. Kenzo Craigie definitely has an opportunity here to maybe even get 2 places because, well, Ivanikov hasn't broken away from these 2 to try and close up to Coronel. Here comes down the inside Kenzo Craigie. That's a vital move as well. Scott Marsh sees a warning flag. He will not like that at all. But Kenzo Craigie certainly also looking strong here. 3 drivers who have made their way through the field and have now got 1, 2 and 3.
Kenzo Craigie's overtaking has been on point so far today. That was another good one. Didn't try and rush it, just took his time with it, got down the inside. Precision placement of his Prema Racing kart at the moment. There he is, pointing to Ivanikov, saying, no, we've still got a chance here, but we've got to keep pushing on. The gap is only 0.5, 0.6 of a second. Ivanikov defends. This will be Coronel's race in and through turns 3 and 4 once again then. Ivanikov is going to defend into turn 5. Is there going to be a switchback now on for Kenzo Craigie as they run towards turn number 7? He points again, saying no, keep going. Is Craigie going to go down the inside? No, there's no opportunity there. Good covering off by Ivanikov. The rest of them are coming into play as well. Kalija's still there. Sunanzi's still there. Kinmark, Clark, Samchik and Domain. Rocco Coronel has surely got this one won. What a drive, what a recovery from the Dutchman, and he's going to take another 50 points.
He certainly will do. Into the final corner they will go. Rocco Coronel is back on top here at the Slovakia ring. Crosses the line, sees the checkered flag. That helps him out considerably. Joins points with Harrison Mackie. Markey is out just that little bit later on, so don't rule that one out just yet. But ahead of Vladimir Ivanikov from Kenzo Craigie, Kalija from Sunna Z.
Very good performance indeed. There are your qualifying heat points after the A versus F race for OK Junior. Kostoya, top. We knew that already. Kraling holding on to 2nd place. Schau for 3rd, Oxteen 4th. Biggest move in that race is Jarrett Clark. A very solid run for Jarrett Clark means he's up to 5th place. But there's still races to fully decide the positions on the grid for the Superheat tomorrow. There's your provisional result. Coronel by 1.3 ahead of Ivanikov. Kenzo Craigie strong again there in 3rd. Kalija, Sunanzi your top 5. Kinmark, Clark, Samchik, Domain and Kornder in the top 10. Malota, Drew Waltz, Kozaya Guma, Efim Durinov and Sebastian Letimarkitic is down to 15th place. In the top 20 also were Scott Marsh, Arthur Huang, Bogdan Cosmo Christopher, Alexander Dahlstrom and Casper Reipold. Theo Battisti, P21, a loss of 19 there for the French driver in the Sodi karts. Max Endicott, a good drive there, up 9 spots to 22nd ahead of Francois Caudal. Joel Poccola and Filippo Pancotti in the top 30 finishers in total. Marco Gars, Gustavo da Silva, Jaguar de Troja, Lucas Konopka and Amir Sabarov. One retirement being a Matteo Rivals. But there is Rocco Coronel. And I tell you what, a driver who we've seen in mixed conditions before be able to drive through. Had that tough start to the weekend. 7th at the moment in the points. Let's have a look at how he took the win in that one with some highlights. This was the start. Not a good start for anyone on the anti-pole side of the grid. Battisti and Sunanzi slightly locking in bumpers together there, which held up everybody on that anti-pole side. Let everyone on the inside get through and gain positions on the first lap of the race. But apart from that, a relatively clean start, even with those impending clouds in the background, which hopefully for the remainder of this afternoon stay away from the circuit. Coronel was on the move. This was him down the inside of Luke Cornder through turn number 5. He really has got his eye in now of making those overtakes through there. Kenzo Craigie was on the move as well. Sunan Z recovering after the problems at the start. Jarrett Clark has very much gone under the radar this weekend, improving all the while. There was a switch for second place. Intriguingly, Oliver Kinmark not fighting that one too hard as Rocco Coronel made his way through into second place. The number 76 of Joel Pokla was trying to improve. It's not been the kind of weekend that we saw for Pokla this time out in Slovakia. I think the win, again, like he did at Val d'Argenton, it's going to be a bit of a tall order this weekend. That was the move for the race lead. Kalija and losing 2 positions in the end as through went Coronel and through went Ivanikov as well. The question was, could Ivanikov race across to the victory lane at number 109? Kenzo Craigie went on the attack as well, trying to find a way past Ivanikov, but there simply wasn't the opportunity to do so. So it was a win for Rocco Coronel, another one to add to his tally in 2024. Wins it by 1.3 seconds ahead of Vladimir Ivanikov. And Kenzo Craigie takes some more good points as well there in third. Well, not many more races to go then for OK Junior. Just the one remaining, the groups B and C going up against one another later on this afternoon. For now, though, let's head down to Anthony Jordan in Parc Ferme.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Yes, I'm here with, I don't believe it, it's a junior driver who is just as tall as me, which I'm not liking at all. But Rocco Coronel, congratulations. What a race that was. Exactly what you need. It's coming together a little bit now, and you're moving up in that intermediate classification as well.
Yeah, yesterday was a bit, not great for me because I had 1 DNF and I got P8 in the second one, but I got a 5-second time penalty for pushing someone. So yeah, I was 58 in the classification, so it was not good. But this is good for the points in the classification, and I hope I'm going up now.
Yeah. I mean, let's talk about this track a bit, because I'd like to get the opinions from quite a few drivers. What are you making of it? It's tight, it's twisty. Some are saying it's hard to overtake at, but we've seen plenty of overtakes thick and fast. Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. But yeah, what they say, the overtaking, you need to really prepare the exit to just overtake them. And but if you overtake, don't go too much on the inside because you're always going to slide because there's just one line. Even in this left one, if you go like 1 meter on the outside, you're just sliding always.
Yeah, we have seen that from other drivers as well. But that's it pretty much for today. We've got tomorrow as well. We've got Super Heats. We've got the finals. Are you feeling confident? You feeling ready? You think you can do something here in Slovakia?
Yeah, it's a quite difficult track, but I think I can make something.
Excellent. Well, congratulations. Well done. Brilliant race win for you, and we'll see you out there tomorrow.
Thank you.
Excellent stuff there for Rocco Coronel. Well, lightning flashes are still going off behind us. The clouds are looming in, but Andrew, it's over to the seniors and back over to you.
Indeed, and hopefully that rain stays away from the circuit for the remainder of this afternoon. We're going to take a short break here and be back shortly after these short messages.
Racing Spirit was born out of the need to create a clothing line that could embody the passion and the experience that OMP gathered and cultivated working alongside the most successful racing teams of the last 50 years. Racing Spirit garments are made by enthusiasts for enthusiasts. They can be worn every day in leisure time, but especially on race venues. From the paddock of the hottest Formula One races to the service parks of winter rallies in all weather conditions. Racing Spirit offers a complete range of clothing and accessories for men and women, designed and developed in Italy, combining aesthetics, comfort, and functionality. Because of these features, it is the brand of choice of several prestigious motorsport outfits and organizations. Racing Spirit is the meeting point between high quality and Italian style, as well as the introduction of sustainable materials and innovations, such as the use of graphene. Racing Spirit offering comes with 4 options: cutting-edge designs and customization techniques. Lifestyle is a line of garments ideal for everyday and leisure wear, with refined style and innovative materials. Crew are custom garments of the highest quality that strengthen the visual identity of the team or organization. For instance, the choice of Skoda Motorsport and Dallara. Corporate is a full custom-designed clothing line for sizable organizations, such as Toyota Racing Development. finally, the teamwear line for maximum creative freedom uses sublimation printing technology derived from OMP's racing experience. Similarly to the other Racing Force Group brands, Racing Spirit shares the same DNA of competing to be the first and ultimately become the reference in the market.
Welcome back to the Slovak Karting Centre. It's round 3 of the 2024 Champions of the Future Euro Series. Getting ready for the qualifying heat involving groups A and F in the OK category. It's going to be 13 laps, 15 kilometres to decide who's going to take the next haul of 50 intermediate classification points. More crucially, for all of these drivers out on circuit shortly, this is their last race of the day, last race of this phase of the round. Last chance to qualify well for the superheats tomorrow. And some news from the pre-grid. Jindřich Peschel there in 262 has swapped sides. That is an elective choice and right that he has as the pole sitter. He's taking this one from the outside of row number 1. Green light is on. Let's take you through the grid then for this next race. Jindřich Peschel starts from pole position. Alongside on the front row is Eliska Babičković, an all Czechia front row. Andrea Dupe and Blake Nash start from row 2. David Kozma Christopher and Anatoly Kovalkin start on row number 3. Jakub Kamenik and Lewis Ware will go from row 4. And completed the top 10 is Guy Albag and Mark Brovko. Tom de Sol and Luna Flusha start from row 6 ahead of Louis Iglesias and Mark Dubnitsky. That's an all CRG row 7. Noah Wolf and Salim Hanar start on row 8. Ian Eichmann and Hugo Marti start on row 9. Completing the top 20, it's Tame Soleil and Kuba Reisky on row 10. Ludovico Busso and Vegard Clemenson start on row 11 ahead of Hugo Reimets and Emily Lecoy Visto. They've both had 2 tough weekends. Start on row 12. It's a 25-kart field completed by Ivo Bastera, Paulin 25th and on row 13. Rain continues to stay away. That is good news, Anthony Jordan, but you've just come back in from outside. How's it feeling? How's the atmosphere out there?
The wind is picking up, and the next race have got wets at the ready. So, yeah, maybe they know something that we don't of when it's going to hit. But honestly, that cloud is terrifying. It's so dark over there, and, well, look at that. It's going to make a direct hit to us. And, yeah, that is going to be... Well, if ever I've seen a red flag in the sky, it's that cloud just there. Because I don't know how well the drainage is at this circuit, but that is an absolute deluge that's on its way to the circuit. So, yeah, it's going to be a really tense time to see if we can actually finish these races before it hits.
Well, it's quite simple for those of you watching at home and on devices around the circuit. That cloud that you just saw from the exit of turn 2 camera, that is the storm off to the west, which you can see on the rain radar as well. A bit of purple, bit of pink on the radar graphic there indicates that there could and might quite possibly will be some very heavy rain coming in shortly. We hope not. We've made these kind of predictions many times before and been wrong. Hopefully we are again. Meanwhile, though, this is the last race of the day for Groups A and F in the OK category. More chances for points and places on the grid for Superheats tomorrow.
Yes, you say that we've predicted it many times and it's been false. We've also predicted many times it's been absolutely correct. There we go. I'm just going to keep that fear into everyone. Here we go. Green lights go down, and we are away and racing. Great start for Peschel, who had swapped sides sideways under braking. Blake Nash keeps hold of second place, and that's probably his best start of the weekend.
Whoa.
Big use of the curbs. I look forward to that replay. That is a scary moment.
That was a really, really scary moment
Brovko.
for Mark Brovko, who, well, has got to go all in.
Oh,
this incident between turns 4 and 5. Is it the 246 that may be involved in that one? Ian Eichmann's trying to make his way through the order here. Let's count them through as they go out of the race. It's one of the CRGs. Is that Tom de Sol in the 235? Yes, it is.
Vegard Clemenson as well.
Clemenson also will take no further part in this race.
Yeah, that is a big shame. That is a scrappy start to that race. Many retirements, and obviously we will count them through. So Peschel leads the way ahead of Anatoly Kavalkin. Then it's Lewis Werrell ahead of Blake Nash. Aliska Babichkova in 5th place. More drama. That's Tame Soleil out of the race. The Sauber Academy driver. It will go no further. A little further back in the field, Andrea Dupe still there in 6th place from David Kozma. Then it's Jakub Kamenik, Guy Albag, Mark Dubnitsky, Luna Flusha up into a P11. 3 retirements. Tom Dussel, Tame Soleil and Vengar Clementson are the retirements. Hugo Regimets is up 1 position, but Ian Eichmans has just dropped down to P21 now.
Yeah, not good news for the Belgian driver. So Indrik Peschel, 236 points as things stand. Be a pretty good score, and it's a quite simple conversion at the moment. If he can win this race, I reckon he's going to take pole position in Superheat number 1 tomorrow. But we've still got 10 laps of this one to go. Everybody very keen to get this one done before that potential rain cloud hits the circuit, potentially in a quite heavy way. Through into turns 3 and 4 go the field. Jakub Kamenik's having another good run here. He's there in 8th place. The 2.98 of Andrea Dupe is just tucked up behind the back of David Kozma Christopher right now. The Romanian up into 6th place. Luna Flusha as well, noted, gaining positions again, is now up into the top 10.
Let's have a look at that start again. Keep an eye on the whole field, but keep an eye on Blake Nash. Look at that sideways under braking. Brilliant kart control. Bit of smoke getting kicked up in the background there, and then watch them in towards turn number 3. Here's the replay I wanted to see. Where's Mark Brovko? Oh, there he goes. Wow. That, I've got to say, that GoPro has got 9 lives. These drivers here, well, it all went P-Tong there, and I think drivers just had too much damage going out of that corner. And yeah, there you go, Tame Soleil, another driver out of the race. Really shaky start there, wasn't it?
I was going to say, if you've just taken a big step back and onto your sofas or fallen over something at home in reaction to that replay from Mark Brovko, we're very sorry. But that was a mighty close moment for the driver there. We're on lap number 4, back towards the front of the order. This is the fight for 2nd place. Kavalkin and Werrell, 2 drivers who've been in close quarters numerous times across the course of 2024 so far. About 2 seconds off the back of Indrik Peschel right now. Right at this moment, Anthony, it doesn't seem like anyone has got an answer to Peschel's pace this weekend.
No, he's been really on it. And I mean, you have to remember, Peschel, he's part of that Monster K Factory team. Obviously, they're running on a CRG chassis at the moment. So it means that CRG, they have got a good setup available to them right now, but it's just not gone to every single driver. Peschel has the advantage of the fact that this is a relatively local track to him. He did say in his interview in qualifying, he's only 2 hours down the road from here, so there is a benefit of the fact that he knows this track like the back of his hand.
Yes, he does, and but it's still that thing of you've got to go out there and perform. You know, that local knowledge can act as pressure sometimes. So Peschel is definitely delivering right now, and I think the other encouraging thing for Peschel in terms of the wider championship, you know, he's decently positioned in the championship standings right now, but he's crescendoing. You know, in terms of final results, you know, 8th back at Valencia. He was 6th last time out at Val d'Argenton. He's on for, even if he had a problem in this remainder of this race, his best championship haul of points so far this season. If he can keep that run going, who knows what could happen between now and the end of the season.
Yeah, certainly. Well, right now, still, it's all going well for the field here. Peschel included. This battle here on your screen, Kavalkin and Werrell. Werrell has been a driver who we have been talking about. He's been up there. Oh, dear me, that rain radar caught me off a little bit there. And so is this move here. Werrell down the inside in towards turn 15. Kavalkin's not going to fight that one back. He said, right, OK, fair enough, you go through. Here's Blake Nash. This is 4th place. Kozma and Dupe just behind. They are all line astern, just behind that battle ahead of them. Guy Alberghino is there in 7th place. We've not said much about him as Eichmann's into the pit lane. He's out of this race. That is a big shame. Flusha there in 8th place, though, ahead of Aliska Babichkova, and Noah Wolf still the top 10. We've not said much about Noah Wolf. Noah Wolf really shone at Val d'Argenton, didn't he? It was a track that he enjoyed. But here, the tight, twisty, narrow, I thought he'd be used to this because he's used to circuits from the UK, you know, things like Kimbolton or, you know, tracks like that, Fullbeck for one, you know, tight, twisty, all circuits he's raced on. But, you know, here it's just not gone his way.
I think for Wolf, it goes back to the time qualifying. You know, we said here at the circuit, on the Circuit PA on Friday, that it would be the most important qualifying of the season just because of how tough it is, or it was, to get a clean lap in. And this is why, because all of those grid starts are from that single-time qualifying effort. And for Wolf, you know, he's had to start so many races from the 8th row of the grid. It's been difficult for him to break through, particularly when you're right in the middle of the pack there. You often get the Constantina effect happening, and you know he's had a couple of retirements here and there. I still think there's a chance he could race through to the final. We know Noah Wolf will not give up here, but yeah, in terms of getting a good haul of championship points here this weekend, it's looking tough for him right now.
It certainly is. It certainly is. We are on lap 8. We are heading over to lap number 9 now. 8 laps completed for the field. The rain still looming in on the drivers, and they will see that every time they go into the final corner. It's just getting closer and closer for our drivers here at the Slovakia ring. And we're here, of course, for round 3 of the Champions of the Future. We're racing at the Slovak Karting Centre as Eliska Babičková unfortunately sees a warning flag. Weekend going bad to worse. Down the inside, David Cosma-Christopher up into P4 past Blake Nash. This is Blake Nash's best, I think, start for him, actually. He's really held on to this one at the start of this race. He's had races where he's tumbled down the order. We've not said much about him, other than the fact that he's gone backwards. Now, I did just see a kart there, stationary. It was a Prema kart, and I believe it is the Colombian of Salim Hanar out of this race. So that will not be well received at all from the Prema team, but at least they've still got a driver up there in the top 10 in the form of Andrea Dube and Luna Flusha.
It's a real shame for Salim Hanar because we felt like at Val d'Argenton through the races that we had there that there was a turning point for Salim's season, and this weekend it just seems to be back to square one again. I hope Salim is okay though. He's able to get out of the kart without assistance, but he's walking away a little bit gingerly there. Back at the front of the order. Oh, this is all getting a little bit tight between Blake Nash and Luna Flusha's got through there as well. Guy Albag was having a go for 6th place. I'm just going to throw this in there. Obviously, the drivers can't hear us in the box, and that's probably a good thing. Is there going to almost be a little bit of onset of, like, if the rain comes and if it comes heavy, the likelihood of a red flag is possible?
Very high.
You've got to get your positions in now because you don't know what's going to happen across the next couple of minutes. That's a beautiful move by Luna Flusha down the inside of Blake Nash for 6th place. You know, you've got to get out there. You've got to get your track position now. I don't think you can wait till lap 13 in this one, just in case. No,
exactly. Just get it done ASAP for these drivers. But like we say, we will not know for a while. Big Send down the inside. Blake Nash is going to retaliate, though. And Guy Albag is going to try and fight his way through. Here's Noah Wolf. Noah Wolf back on the scene here. This is great to see the young Briton really shine now once more. But Blake Nash is going to defend it, and he does defend that one nicely from Noah Wolf. This is allowing as well Hugo Marti, Louis Iglesias. You've got Jakub Raschke closing in as well. And, oh, dear me, that is a definite dropped nose for Hugo Marti. You just pointed it out, and, yeah, that nose cone looked like it's holding on for dear life.
Yeah, that's got a bit of undesigned resonance in it, particularly at high speeds. It's not doing it right now. It's when you get the bit of the aero loading on it down the pit straight. 2 laps to go then in this one. Dietrich Peschel in full control. It would seem 1.4 seconds clear of Lewis Werrell. Noah Wolf trying to find a way past Blake Nash, back further up the order. This is the fight for 4th, 5th, 6th. Cosma-Christopher, Dupre and Flusha. And Luna Flusha, I've got to say, it's a really good turnaround from Luna Flusha. Big disappointment earlier on today, you know, when the dice was rolled on the slick tyres in that split race between the wet runners and the slick tyre runners. She was one of the slick tyre runners. I've been really impressed with the response from Luna. She's kept her head up, been pushing forward, and has been good value for the 6th place.
Certainly has. Here, though, Jiří Peschel, your race leader, looking for another qualifying heat win of this weekend. Really great performance from him in his last race. It bumps him up to first in the intermediate classifications, 236 points. There is, of course, another senior group that's going to go out. Kai Rillarts is in that, and Rillarts is only a handful of points behind and is potentially an opportunity to close in. But here, right now, it is Jiri Peschel across the line. It's another win for him, and he leads the intermediate classification, of course, provisionally. With one more race to go, he is in line to be on pole position for the Superheats tomorrow. Jiri Peschel ahead of Lewis Werrell, Anatoly Kavalkin ahead of David Kozma, Andrea Dupe from Luna Flusha, Guy Albag ahead of Blake Nash, ahead of Noah Wolf. Jakub Raschke rounds out the top 10. There, a look at the provisional intermediate classifications on your screen. The confirmation there, Ramakas going down the order just that little bit. There's a look then at the top list of drivers in that race. We've gone over the top 10. Louis Iglesias just finishing outside the top 10 in 11th place, ahead of Hugo Marti, Mark Demnitsky, Ludovico Busto, and the likes of Ivo Bastarda, who gained 10 positions in that race. Hugo Reimets and Emily Koivisto go from 16th and 17th place, ahead of Jakub Kamenik. Eliska Babichkova, unfortunately, finishing in 19th place, as well as seeing a warning flag. The retirement, Mark Brovko, Salim Hanar, Ian Eichmann, Tom Dussel, Tame Soleil, and Vegard Clemetson, unfortunately, all out of that race. And you can see there the marshals working hard to clear the circuit, ready for the last two races that will be going out in a few moments' time. But there on your screen is Jiri Peschel, who takes another qualifying heat win. Certainly helps himself out and looks like he's in prime position to start on pole for tomorrow's Superheat 1. There, the smiles coming in for the team and drivers, but certainly it is a tense time for the championship. Here we go then. Let's look at the highlights from that race. Great start from Peschel, just breaking away from the rest of the field, and unfortunately for him, he didn't get much coverage in that race. This was the heart-in-mouth moment. That was full speed there. Mark Brovko passed the shot there. Unfortunately, the kart's all taking to the runoff area. The retirements came in thick and fast. That was Vegard Clemetson, Tame Soleil later on as well, Tom Dussel, Eichmanns later on in the race, all retirements. This one, though, early doors, it was Werrell breaking way up into second place ahead of Anatoly Kavalkin. Kavalkin didn't fight that one back initially, just allowed those two to break away for the rest of the race. David Kozma making moves there. Unfortunately, Salim Hanar, one of the other retirements, in a bit of discomfort as well, so hopefully Salim Hanar is okay. That was Luna Flusha and Blake Nash having a good little run of races there, having a good scrap with Guy Albag. Albag splitting the two apart, finishing in 7th place. But the win would go to Jiri Peschel, the ASD Monster K factory team driver, running with the CRG team and on the CRG chassis, certainly having an absolutely fantastic weekend here at the Slovak Karting Centre. Well, 2 more races to go. Do not go anywhere. We are going to be finding out who is definitely 100% going to be on pole in both the juniors and the seniors, but we have some idea of who it could be at the moment. Well, there's not much action left to go of the day, but still, do stay tuned, because the next races could be exciting, especially with that humongous rain cloud on the way. While we wait, have a look at this one again. Mark Brovko. Wow, how close do you want to get? You could see the whites of his eyes going past the camera there on that shot. Brilliant to see there. There you can see the balcony where so many people are watching the races from, and there you go, we're getting waves from the crowd there as well. Good to see everyone keen to watch what happens here, but there you go, people looking behind and seeing that big cloud. The wind's picking up. Andrew, over to you. Hopefully you don't get caught short in that rain.
Thank you, Anthony. We definitely hope not. We'll make this one quick. A very happy Jindřich Peschel with me. Jiri, how pleased are you to get the job done? Another win, good position for the Superheats tomorrow, and all before that rain comes in as well.
Yeah, of course, I'm happy, as we told already before together, that the rain didn't come and the race was all dry. About the race, it was a really good start. How we wanted, pull away already on the start, and then just keep that gap going and save the tires as well again. Really couldn't ask more about that.
Your race management has been absolutely on point so far this weekend. You'd mentioned saving the tyres as well. How much do you think you've got in reserve for Superheats tomorrow?
Well, we've put new tires like everybody else, but I think the other side looks also really good for the superheat. And yeah, I think the tires looks well for now, and we'll see tomorrow. I think we have the speed, and we'll see.
What will you do in preparation for tomorrow over the evening? Was just kind of have a relax, or is it, you know, back to the grind in terms of looking through the data, looking for those little percents of performance?
Yeah, the good thing is that here we have a camper, so I don't have to go anywhere. In the morning, I don't have to get up early, so it's like more calm. And then in the evening, we'll spend some time with my friends around here, because I know it around here. Many friends came here to see my race, and I just relax.
Good stuff. Well, Jindrik, brilliant job throughout the course of the last 2 days. Best of luck for tomorrow.
Thank you.
There we go, Jindrik Peschel, very much one of the front runners here this weekend at the Slovak Karting Centre. For now, though, Anthony, back to you in the box.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Like I say, win picking up, and the penultimate race of the day is about to head out onto the circuit. Okay, junior qualifying heat B versus C. 10 laps and 11.5 kilometre race distance. Drivers have started up the engines and they've made their way out onto the circuit. Let's take you through the starting lineup for this one. It is Filippo Sala and Harrison Mackie on the front row of the grid. Sebastian Mins and Alfie Slater on row 2. They've all gone for a brand new set of tyres. Andrea Mani and Roman Kamyab on row 3, ahead of Jack Iliff and Paul Andriotis on row 4. Marcel Sebu and Zhao Zijun go from row number 5 in the top 10. Boris Lysen and Makir Savalev on row 6, ahead of Armin Karrier Osman and Jesse Phillips on row 7. Martin Toth and Maria Neto go from row 8. Manuel Miguez and Drizan Langendonk round out row 9. Sky Parker and Nicholas Stick go from row 10. Louis Cochet and Archie Lovett on row 11, ahead of Thomas Paradir and Roland Nagy on row 12. Ili Christian and Iskander Solfakari round out the top 13 rows. Then it's Tobias Chenny and Nikita Nikishov on row 14. Jensen Burnett and Zavrev Dudkovsky go from row 15 and the top 30. Alexander Chartier rounds out the 16-row grid. Only 5 of the drivers in this race have not adorned brand new set of slick tyres, and there Sky Parker has not gone.
4:54 now, position, struggling down the pit lane.
Confirmation there. Sky Parker struggling to leave the pit lane, and yeah, confirmation that she has started up now and she has gone, but all the meanwhile right at the back. Another look at the rain radar. It's on top of us now. It is literally on top of us. It's going to hit us in any moment now. And that's bad news for me, because I'm scheduled to do the interview after this race. I might have to blackmail Andrew Mather to go and do this next interview, because I suspect it might be raining by the time I head down. I don't want to get caught short out in that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm sure all these drivers don't want to get caught short out as well, because like I say, everyone bar 5 drivers have gone for a brand new set of tyres on the right-hand side of their kart. So it is going to be an interesting race if they have all deployed these brand new sets and then all of a sudden, well, they need wets. So let's see what happens as drivers make their way into position. I think Sky Parker just in the background there is just trying to get into her position. She's due to start 19th place. I think she has done that before the red line, which is good to see. As drivers make their way out of the final corner, back onto the start-finish straight. Are we going first time of asking? We're keeping them steady, but it is good to go. Yes, I think so. I don't think Mackie was ready to go there. He struggled off the line just a little bit, and he's gone down to P4. Now he gets pushed out wide, P5, P6, P7. There's a spin on the start-finish straight. It's the number 45 of Armin Karrier Osman for the Forza Racing team out of this race.
Yeah, real disappointment there for Armin Karrier Osman, another driver who's had really, really tough weekends so far. heading into turn 7. Then there's a green flag out at Marshall Post 5. Normally indicates that there's problems on Marshall Post 4. We'll keep you updated on any other drivers who are not quite able to make it through the first few sectors. I think Martin Toth is missing from sector number 2, or might be a little bit delayed.
And through.
Yeah, has now gone through. So round 2 completes the first lap of this one. Sala leads in a Ricky Flynn Motorsport 1-2 ahead of Sebastian Mins. It's Andrea Marni breaking the run of RFMs at the top of the order there in 3rd. Alfie Slater running strong again in 4th. Let's have another look at the start. Yeah, curious start for Harrison Mackie. That's how we lost Amin Kara Osman in the background. It just looks a bit of a concertina effect in the second half of the field.
I don't think it was a concertina effect. I don't think his engine was working, because I think he was flat out. The carts behind were just on top of him there. Where is it? Yeah, look, there you go. He's not going. He's not going. That's not. There's a cart on top of pushing him.
Shoving him along.
Yeah, so I think it's that's not gone well at all, and clearly very frustrated. Spy cam. Oh, another close call. Oh, there you go. I love that camera shot. I want that every weekend.
Very much indeed. Looks like Alfie Slater's been on the move again. Has he got past Andrea Marni for 3rd place? Yes, he has. No, apologies. No, he hasn't. He's actually slipped back a bit, I think. No, so apologies. Slater's got up to 2nd place. Now, where has Mins gone? Mins has slotted down to 5th place. So it's still a Ricky Flynn 1-2 only. But a change of the drivers as a part of it.
Yes, indeed. Roman Kamyab now on the move. Big send down the inside for Sebastian Mins as well. Mins getting through on Jack Iliff and amazingly made that work. Now splits themselves and Kamyab apart. Kamyab will have an opportunity to try and get past as well. It also looks like Manny breaking away from Slater. Yes, Manny back up into 2nd place. And it's all kicking off now because Kamyab's come back through and Paul Andriotis has gone through as well. Jack Iliff is starting to tumble down the order just that little bit. Ricky Flynn Motorsport now is on a charge, but what happened the last time 4 Ricky Flynn Motorsport drivers got together in a race? It all went wrong. So is it going to happen again, or have they learned from that, and are they going to work together here?
I mean, you'd hope that they have very much learned from that and know that they're all in a chance here, whether it be making the top 10 or just making it through to the top 36 of the final, or indeed, because there will be a cut-off, of course, for the OK Juniors with the top 72. Some of them will miss out on making it through to the Super Eats. Oh, that was a big one. Was that Jack Iliff trying to go down the inside of Paul Andriotis for 6th place? You can tell how much the light has faded as well, because out of turn 5, that last time around, I think you could actually see sparks coming off the bottom of the chassis on the exit curb on driver's left. Still dry conditions here, still no rain, and hopefully it will stay that way for the drivers, particularly all of these runners. They are all, of course, on slick tyres. End of lap number 4. Sala from Manny, Slater, Mins, Kamyab. Harrison Mackie back up to 6th place now, and is also back up to 2nd place in the intermediate classification. That would give Mackie pole position for the Slater's going to go down the inside of Manny for 2nd place. Lovely stuff from Alfie Slater, and all of them running within that curve as well. Manny's going to try and fight back into turn number 7. Good defence from Slater. That may give teammate Roman Kamyab an opportunity as well. But Mackie right now, just see him at the back of this train in the purple and white helmets from the Fusion Motorsport. He's up there now to 2nd place. Can he hold on to that in the IC?
Yeah, certainly so. I mean, he's really needing to have to dig deep here, Radio.
Post 4, opening lap, 1 in 66. Contact on 83, which causes 125 to spin.
Well, there you go. Contact there from 66, and that is Iskander Solfakari, which is why we saw that warning flag go out on the screen a moment ago, as it's all kicking off here once again. Mackie through, down, backwards, and sideways under braking here. It's all getting a little bit feisty here, and unfortunately the punching bag in this feistiness is Andrea Manni. He is being wrestled to the back of the field here by the karts that are all trying to get past it. They're all feeling like they've got a bit more pace on these tyres. Now, Andrea Mani, I think, deployed his earlier on. Here's a replay of a move earlier on, and that was the one that you were calling earlier on in the race. I think that was Maka Savalev going down the inside, or maybe even or Jack Iliff.
Yeah, Jack Iliff on one of the Ricky Flynns there. A bit ambitious there. This was the moment between Andriotis and Marnie. Mackie taking advantage of that as well. Saying, thank you very much, I'll take that position. A few more points on his total. Oh, it's out of the race. It's one of the Express in the Tony kart. Is that Thomas Prodir? Yes, it is, in the 111. And it's Tobias Trzeni for Hagman Racing, who's also out of this race. It really has been a bit of a weekend to forget for Thomas Prodir. Not the way he would have wanted to start his time with Tony kart.
I think a weekend, and do I dare say a season so far. He's had really tough races throughout every round. And
I think the disappointing thing at the moment is that the season started with such promise.
It did.
Across various categories for Thomas Prodir. It just feels right now, you know, in the middle of the year, that it's slipping away, and a bit of refining himself is needed for Thomas Prodir.
Yeah, that is such a hard thing to see for a driver, but every driver has these moments in a racing career. They have a terrible season, but they always seem to come back stronger next year, and hopefully maybe even the next round for Thomas Prodir. Here, though, the Ricky Flynn drivers, Sala and Slater, breaking away. There's a look at the IC. Kostoya leading it. Mackie second. Now, I am looking at the points here. Mackie will currently get 36. If he got 50, that would be an extra 24 points to his name that he would get. Add that on top of currently 216. Can he beat him? Add 24 to that? Yes, he can. So if Mackie wins this race, he will start on pole.
And indeed, 2 laps of this one to go. First of all, Mackie's got to find a way past Sebastian Mins, and Kamyab a little bit further ahead as well. Mins has had a really solid day, really good day, and is at the moment looking like he could be on the front row, is out of the race. That looks like it's the number 83 of Nikita Nikishov, the AKM Motorsport driver, joining Prodir and Strzeni on the sidelines on lap number 9, as that's Archie Lovett trying to fight down the inside of Maria Neto. I think they're the number 77. This is over 10th place, and Archie Lovett has had a tough day. He's had 2 retirements. Just a little bit further up the road, his teammate Dries van Langendonk in the number 2 there. Closing in on Harrison Mackie. Well, I had the pleasure of watching these two go wheel to wheel a few weeks ago. It was dramatic stuff. Are we going to see it again here on the final lap at the Slovak Karting Centre? Sala there in the lead of this one. I think we talked about at the start of the weekend, Sala needing that consistency through the whole of the qualifying heats. It's been there or thereabouts. I'd say across the board, these first 2 days, it's been a very strong performance from him.
Yeah, I'd completely agree with that. I think it's a good example of it. But again, this track has been such a challenge, I think, for so many that, yeah, it's been so up and down. And when we saw it at the start of this weekend, we thought, well, Mackie's leading by 20 points, but now it's just been thrown open because now Mackie's been on the back foot. Yeah. You know, no one's had a perfect weekend, and that's what I think I like about this track. Out of the final corner, Filippo Sala, signed, sealed, and done for him. Helps himself out, bumps him up to 3rd in the IC. He secures pole position for Superheat 2 tomorrow for the junior category. Kostoya secures pole position for Superheat 1. But Mackie in this one will start alongside Kostoya, and Sebastian Mins will start alongside the rest. Well, I'll head down and have a quick chat, but certainly that's going to be an exciting one.
Very, very much so. I've got to say, for Ricky Flynn Motorsport, that is a brilliant way to finish their day in OK Junior. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they've put the troubles of yesterday behind them. Sala ahead of Slater, Kamyab and Mins, all scoring well. Harrison Mackie P5, Dries van Langendonk P6. I'd be a bit surprised if we do see championship points for Dries van Langendonk, but crucially, those results bringing him back up the intermediate classification. He'll be looking to just get into the final at the moment after what's been a tough weekend, the championship leader. Paul Andriotis P7, Mako Savalev P8 ahead of Boris Laslin P9. Maria Neto, good drive there from Maria, up 6 spots to 10th, just ahead of Archie Lovett, who gained 11 in that one. Jesse Phillips, Jack Iliff and Jensen Burnett in the top 15, completed by Skender Solfikari. Burnett, your biggest mover, up 15. There are your points. Still provisional at this time, we should stress, but Kostoya, P1, 25 championship points, ahead of Mackie, Sala, Mins, Kraling, Schaufler, Oxtein and Clark. A very good day for Schaufler, was second in the points in the championship, with problems for Van Langenlog. Here are your highlights of that final race for OK Junior here today. One more race to go, of course. There were the problems for Aminkara Osman even before the race starts. The number 45 would be out before it had even begun. A number of retirements across the course of that race. So close moments through and out of turn number 2 there. Drivers skirting with the track limits out of that one. Good moves early on from the number 97 of Andrea Marni, having a fight there, getting past Sebastian Mins. That was how Slater got through both of them into second place. Alfie Slater following up the victory that he had earlier on today with another solid score, another driver going in the right direction before we go to the superheats in that terms of form ahead of tomorrow's racing. Jack Iliff losing out there to the number 25 of Roman Kamyab. Kamyab had some nice moves through the field. Bit ambitious there from Iliff, trying to get back down the inside of that was Paul Andriotis in the number 24. Could have been a lot worse for both of those drivers, but Harrison Mackie took good advantage of that to get another 2 positions. Slater down the inside of Marni on lap number 7. That was a moment for one of the Powlins once again out of the second turn. Slater defending from Marni to hold on to that second place, hopefully open the door for some of his teammates behind. This was Mins getting down the inside of Marni. Mackie again. Good race from Mackie, despite the weakened start. He was just able to pull himself back through, gain some more points, gain some more positions. That is how the day ended for Thomas Poirier and Tobias Szczeni. A really tough weekend for both of them. They would be joined by Nikita Nikishov at that Marshall post there, 4 retirements in total from that one. Archie Lovett and Maria Neto had a good scrap late on in the race as well. In the end, it would be advantage to Maria, the Portuguese driver, finishing P10. But it's Filippo Sala who takes the last race of the day for OK Junior, leading home a dominant performance from Ricky Flynn Motorsports, a lockout of the top 4. Well, that culminates things for OK Junior. Let's head down to Anthony Jordan in Parc Ferme.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Here with Harrison Mackie, who didn't win that race, but puts himself on pole position for Superheat 2 tomorrow. Harrison, the work has all been down to this moment here. You had 3 qualifying heat wins. The second half of today, and actually today, has not fully gone your way, especially when you've had to start on the outside road. Tell us, what was happening in those last couple of races?
In the last 2 heats, we started second. So they're definitely a lot harder to start second. You fall back quite hard at start. The first start, I got pushed wide a little bit and it struggled, but that one, I think the start was a bit chaotic and everyone was everywhere, but we sort of struggled at start, but we sort of fought our way back through.
Yeah. You've done what you needed to do, though. You've got yourself starting on pole position for tomorrow's Superheats, and you put yourself in a good position still to get some championship points. I know we've said before, you're not in a championship position for this one. You're well down in the order, but still, it's always nice to have. And it's great practice for a couple of weeks' time as well, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously we're only here for this race, not in 2 weeks, but we're showing pace that we want to show ready for the World Champs.
Yeah, exactly that. Well, good to see. But excellent stuff. Congratulations. We'll let you relax now, enjoy your evening, and hopefully not get caught out by some rain.
Thank you.
Excellent stuff there. Well done to Harrison Mackie and the rest of the juniors. Of course, you can catch them live tomorrow. One more race to go. Andrew, it's the last of the seniors.
It is indeed. Interesting little comment there from Harrison Mackie for potentially his future plans as, of course, the World Championships head to the United Kingdom later in the year. Right now, though, here in Slovakia, one last race on Saturday. It's the qualifying heat for Groups B and C in the OK category. Now on our screen, we're seeing 12 laps and 14 kilometres. So we're waiting for that to be fully confirmed on our timing screens here in the box, but that may well have been a reduction in the race time. There we go then, the pre-grid for the drivers in this last race. Slick tyres, the order of the day. Fingers crossed this rain does hold off across the course of the next 20 minutes or so. Let's have a look at the rain radar. Yeah, I think we've avoided the worst of the weather. That band of pink has kind of just skirted around the circuit. There may be a little fine few drops in the air, but we've seen that several times this weekend. And when it has been that very fine rain, there's been enough tyre temperature and grip in the circuit to not affect the drivers too much. So fingers crossed that is going to be remaining the way for this last race of the day. We are back tomorrow, of course, for all of the racing on Sunday. Do very much hope you can be with us. You can watch everything back on your broadcast platform of choice. Things kick off at 9:50 local time here at the circuit. There is Noah Monteiro from Portugal, pole position for this last race of the day. Hasn't been a perfect weekend for Monteiro so far, but had that good pace and timed qualifying in actually quite similar conditions to what we've got here right now at the circuit. We'll be joined on the front row of the grid by Matheus Morgado. Morgado looking to secure good points in the championship. There he is, once again racing for the CL Charles Leclerc racing team on the Birel ART-based technology for that homologated chassis, and Morgado's had some good pace there. Everybody has new tyres on the right-hand side, so all of these drivers have held those slick tyres back. Understandable, of course, because a number of these drivers have had wet running across the course of the weekend. In terms of dry tyres, the task ahead of the drivers hasn't been too bad to keep those in check. There is Kai Rillerts. It's been a very good weekend for Kai Rillerts, and could be on for a very good finish here in the intermediate classification. At the moment, sits in 5th place, but a win here would take him from 180 points to 230. That would be more than enough to go into 2nd place. He is the best positioned driver in this last race in the intermediate classification. He has a 1-point advantage over Morgado. Whistle sounds, green light illuminates. Let's take you through the grid for this last race of the day. It's Noah Monteiro on pole position. Matheus Morgado alongside on the front row. Kai Rillerts and Freddie Lloyd on row 2. Leo Nielsen and Murillo de Rocca due to go from row number 3. Bernardo Benaldi and Joe Turney start on row number 4. Leon Brunner and Jimmy Elias start on row number 5. Matteo Giaccardi and Miguel Costa start on row 6. Zach Drummond, championship leader before the start of this weekend, is joined by Gabriel Gomez on row 7. Tiziano Monza has one last chance to qualify well here. He's had a difficult day. Starts this one from row 8, is joined by Alfons Mirtanen. Maciej Koniec starts on row 9 alongside Maros Halatki. Marty Rittanen and Dominic Simek start on row 10. Dante Vinci and Stylianos Kolovos start on row 11, ahead of Santino Panetta and Marcus Stolkunas on the penultimate row, row number 12. It's a 25-kart field that's completed by Italy's Sebastiano Pavan. Starts on his own on row 13. There are your live points before this last race of the day. Peschel, Ramakas, Lindblom and Dupe, they're all done. They're all locked in with their points. They'll be hoping that Rillerts and Morgado don't score in this race, but let's be honest, is unlikely. But Rillerts and Morgado looking to move up from 5th and 6th in that order. Remember, they start 3rd and 2nd, respectively, in this race.
Well, they can't actually beat Peschel.
Nope.
No, 50 points would put Kai Rillerts on pole position for Superheat 2, but no one can actually beat Peschel. He is secured pole position, so that is confirmed. And the more I look out the sky, that wind has got chilly now. It looks like the clouds have parted a little bit. They've graciously split apart. And now there's one that's gone to one side of the track, another that's gone to the other side of the track, and it's just left the track alone. So we're actually now surrounded by heavy rain, but nothing's actually going to hit us, I don't think, now anymore. We were G'ing it up for nothing.
The mechanics' prayers and anti-rain dances have been effective so far.
They've beaten us.
Indeed. So, one last race to go here today at the Slovak Karting Centre. Noah Monteiro looking to finish things on a high. Morgado and Rillerts with the job of intermediate classification points at hand. Are we going to be good for a first-time start? Into the tram lines we go, green and racing for the final time today. Very close into turn 1 between Morgato and Montero, but it's advantage Montero through turn 2 as well. Kai Rillets is going to have to be on the defensive here from Murillo de Roca down into turn number 3. Good start for Joe Turney as well. Turney is up to 5th place, and there's drama at the back. It's the 2-1-3. Is that Martti Rittinen? Yes, it is. And Stylianos Kolovos are out of contention in this one. Turney down the inside for 4th place. He's got 4th place. He can't win today in the intermediate classification, but he can definitely get himself high up the order and get some more championship points. On this first lap then, Montero leads. Morgato P2 at the moment. That would elevate Morgato very close, and if not in, to 2nd place in the intermediate classification.
Yes, it does indeed, and there was hefty damage, unfortunately, to Kolovos's kart. You saw the NASA panel push down onto the driver's hands, so I don't think he's managed to get going again, the same as Martti Rittinen, and I think they've both pulled it off the circuit, which is a big shame, them out of the race. Montero leads the way then from Morgato. Rillart's in 3rd, no change for the top 3. Turney up to P4. He's had a very good start ahead of De Roca. Then it's Lloyd from Nilsson, Gomez Elias, Costa, Bernoldi, Brunner and Mittinen. Then it's Drummond and Tiziano Monza, the top 15. I have got everything crossed for Tiziano Monza in this race, for him to have a good one, because he has had a dismal weekend so far.
A dismal weekend, I think, particularly in today. It's not gone right for Monza at all. End of lap number 2 then. No changes at the front of the order. It's still Montero from Morgato. Rillart's there in 3rd place. Joe Turney up to 4th. Right now, there's your intermediate classification. Now, this could be quite crucial, Anthony. We know that Peschel has got pole position for Superheat number 1, but Morgato, Rillart's and Turney still have a chance. Turney a bit of an outside chance, but again, you never know. He's just got to push forward, get past Rillart's and Morgato, and hope that they have a weaker second half of the races, because he could still wrestle pole position in Superheat 2 away from them here.
He certainly could. Morgato's putting himself in the exact spot he needs to be. He doesn't need to stress out and close up to Montero. That's not important to him at all. He just needs to be there in 2nd place. The only downside he's got for that is that if he stays there and these two do close up, he puts himself in danger. So he's probably thinking, I want to close up to Montero and get past him to give me a nice buffer between that.
And the good news, of course, right now is that they've got the tyres to lean on. Everyone's got a new set on at least one side of the kart. So they can lean on them right now as the track is properly rubbered in across the course of the day. Jimmy Elias has just set a new fastest lap of the race, 51.303. Some decent race pace there for the Frenchman. He's up to 8th place. News on Gabriel Gomez. Gabriel Gomez, as we've seen several times today coming through the field, to 7th place now. As a gain of 7. In fact, he's just swapped with Jamie Elias. So Elias up to 7th place. Gomez down to 8th. As here goes Turney on the attack. Down the inside of Rillart's for 3rd place. Now that won't be enough to switch them in the intermediate classification. The gap is still 12 points to the advantage of the Belgian. But that is Turney very much moving in the right direction in this race.
Yeah, it certainly is. Again, keeping that momentum up, pushing himself forward and just seeing what he can do. Jimmy Elias, though, with the fastest lap of the race, is there in 7th place. Could also be a threat in this one, pushing himself forward. He doesn't sit within the top 8 of the intermediate classification, but certainly he could have a role to play in this story if he can try and split up and maybe even push other drivers down further. That could help other drivers in that top fight.
Indeed, and I tell you what, he's absolutely lighting the timing screen up at the moment. He's just gone purple through sector 1 and sector 2, closed into the back of Freddie Lloyd there, the 227 for Ricky Flynn Motorsport, and he's into the 50s, 50.977 for Jimmy Elias, and that was even though I think he was a little bit held up by Freddie Lloyd at the end of that lap. Not being held up at the moment, Joe Turney closing in now on Matheus Morgato. Again, a move right now just between these two wouldn't change things in terms of who's taking pole position for Superheat number 2. There goes Turney down the inside, Morgado doesn't fight that one too hard. Morgado's just got to keep ahead of Rillarts here. That's the important thing in terms of the intermediate classification right now for the former world champion, is keep that 2.93 behind. They'll be on pole position for Super Heat 2 tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's what you need. And we've seen the differences between starting on pole and second place. Speaking to Mackie just then, said, yeah, these last races, I've been struggling from the outside. So it does matter which side you start on. So some drivers really do need to be careful right now. And the main driver who does is Morgado. Replay here with radio. Well, as you can see, big moment there at turn 2. Now, what did race control make of it? Because it was a tough fight there. Here's what they had to say.
Post 2, lap 1, 230, contact on 213, report 230.
Well, there you go, report for 230. That is Marcus Shilkunas, unfortunately, who is still in this race, but has tumbled down to 22nd place. Well, he's actually up 2 places, so he's up 2 places, but he's in 22nd.
I think he also had the problems with the NASA panel there, flipping up and obscuring his view for a few moments. We're on lap number 8 now. Montero and Turney currently leading in a 1-2 for the Kart Republic Works team. 1.4 seconds between the two of them. Morgado now having to defend from Kai Rillarts. It may, in the context of this race, look a bit strange. Why aren't they working together to try and pull Turney back in? But this is for pole position in Super Heat number 2. Good attempt from Rillarts. Morgado kept the steering open then. Switchback, beautifully done by Mateus Morgado. Just knows he needs to hold this position, but complicating matters. There's Jimmy Elias. Down the inside goes Rillarts. Through goes Elias as well. Is Elias going to get both of them? Yes, he is. What a move by Jimmy Elias. But crucially, Rillarts is now going to fight back down the inside. Retakes 3rd place. He's trying to put breathing distance between himself and Mateus Morgado. This is the key fight to decide who's going to be on pole position for Super Heat number 2 tomorrow. And I'm hearing in my ear that there may be rain out there on the circuit. It's not affecting lap times yet. They're still in the 51s and the 52s. There's a warning flag for the 210. But is there one more bit of drama here in the qualifying heats in the OK category? It's Rillarts who's holding on to that 3rd place now, but Elias, Anthony, he is really charged up today. He's all over the back of the Belgian.
Did I or did I not say that Jimmy Elias could be a factor in this race? Not for battling in the top spot, but for making it a living nightmare for the other drivers in those top spots as they try to fight for points and positions. But he's right on that rear bumper now of Kai Rillarts as they head down in towards turn number 1 for another timer on lap 10 of this race. All of them make it through the corner, but crucially no changes just yet. Rillarts at the moment is looking at starting on pole for Super Heat 2 tomorrow. Morgado wants to retaliate here, but it's going to be difficult. Wheel to wheel now down the inside. Elias gets it done. Morgado tries to go, but Gillard just covers that inside line, and it doesn't go well. So Rillarts covers that door. It all goes P-Tong here now because through goes Marilla De Rocca on Morgado. Morgado's down another place.
Tactically spot on there from Rillarts to just let Elias go, not try and fight back, because it was all about keeping Morgado behind, which he has done. Pace is still good, by the way, so if there is rain out there on the circuit, it's not significant. It's similar to what we saw in time qualifying yesterday, as here comes Gabriel Gomez down the inside of Mateus Morgado. This is more like it from Gabriel Gomez. We've missed this weekend. He's had spent some spectacular drives so far in 2024, but the CRG team leader seems to be back on form. He seems to be getting back in control at just the right time. Lap times, again, they're in the 5:51s at the moment. Now, we have seen pace down in the low 51s, even the 50s if your name is Jimmy Elias in this race. But right now, this is okay. The drivers are ticking the laps off. Here's a replay of Elias getting past Rillarts, and there was the move from Rillarts getting across, making sure that Morgado did not have a lane down the inside to take that crucial position between those two.
And then De Rocca got through as well there, just on the inside. Brollies are up. It is spitting with rain. The only plus that you can take away from this is, one, that you're doing the next interview, and two, they've got the temperature in the tyres already. That's the most important thing you can take from this one. Down the inside, big move there. Tiziano Monza making the moves now. This is what we like to see from Monza. He's not had the run, and he's got past Morgado as well. Morgado is tumbling down the order. This could help out Joe Turney here. One more position, and Joe Turney starts on the front row of the grid in Superheat 1.
It most definitely will help out Joe Turney. It'll get him past Morgado, as you say. I think there's still going to need to be a little bit of action for it to get him on the front row, because Rillards is still there in that key position further up the order. Bernardo Bernaldi trying to fight his way through there. We're on to the final lap. Noah Montero has the lead by 1 second over Joe Turney, and he's looking good for race victory. I just wonder, would there be any team orders to switch the two Kart Republics round to give Turney another 6 points?
No.
I doubt it at this stage. The gap is simply too far apart and too risky to orchestrate that one. Jimmy Elias there in third. Kai Rillards is defending a 9-point advantage at the moment over Joe Turney and Mateus Morgado, so just needs to run this one home. Could even afford to let Murilo de Roca through and would still be on the front row for Superheat. Number 2 would have pole position for it tomorrow. But what a response, Anthony, from this driver here. Montero has been fantastic in this race.
He certainly has. Across the start-finish line he goes. He sees that checkered flag, and he ends the day on a high. Noah Montero takes the final qualifying heat win of the weekend here at the Slovakia ring, ahead of Joe Turney and Jimmy Elias. Kai Rillards will take 4th place ahead of Murilo de Roca. Gomez fights up to P6 ahead of Tiziano Monza. His best result of the weekend for Tiziano Monza. 8 places gained. The same for Gomez. Well, Mateus Morgado at the end of that one drops to 8th place, but secures the front row start for Superheat 1 tomorrow, does Mateus Morgado. But Rillards confirms a pole position start for Superheat 2 tomorrow. Joe Turney, despite his best effort, joint on points, but of course out-qualified by Morgado. He will start on the front row of Superheat 2 alongside Kai Rillards. Well, that is going to be an interesting one tomorrow. There's a look at the rest of the provisional results on your screen, of course, pending any scrutineering and post-race penalties that will come out after the end of the day. The biggest mover in that race, got to give it to Sebastiano Pavan, the Italian for Tony Kart Racing, up 12 places in that one. Big smiles for Noah Montero. That is exactly how you want to end the day. Let's have a look at the highlights from that one. For Noah Montero, there wasn't really any highlights. He got the lead, he held on to it, and he drove to the checkered flag. But the rest of the field, there were many highlights. Morgado, Turney, Kai Rillards, Jimmy Elias, all battling. Murilo de Roca, big moment there. There you can see the action that happened at the start, unfortunately, where Martti Rittonen and Stylianos Kolovas got caught out there. And oh, dear me, that was a big moment there for those two. There, I think, was Markus Schulkenis's front NASA panel just getting flicked up there, which is why I think he was being kept a close eye on. This was Turney making his moves up into 3rd place in the early starts, getting past Kai Rillards and moving that position up again later on Morgado. This put him in a really good spot here to try and close into his fellow teammate, and as well really try and help secure where he will be starting. Best he could do is front row for Superheat 2, which is still a very good achievement. Rillards down the inside. This brought then in victory lanes Jimmy Elias into the fight, got past both of them into the final corner, would then go wheel to wheel once again with Rillards, who would have to fight back. Looking to the inside, went defensive from Morgado. Morgado then went to the outside, left the door open for Murilo de Roca, who went down the inside. Gomez came into play, and so did Costoya. The rain started to fall in the dying stages of the race as Gomez went for the move down the inside in towards the last part of the circuit. Then Tiziano Monza making his way up, his best result of the weekend. So many retirements for Tiziano Monza. It is good to see him back up at that sharp end, going wheel to wheel with Costoya. Morgado getting back through. Drummond had closed in at this point. Miguel Costa, Freddie Lloyd, Leon Brunner, Sebastiano Pavan, all closing in at this point of the race. They were all right there, right behind, so it was going to end up in tears at some point, but amazingly, they all managed to get to the end. And so did this young man here, Noah Monteiro for Kart Republic, the driver from Portugal, wins the last race of the day, moves himself up 6th in the intermediate classification, but will be starting, of course, a little further down for those super heats. Well, plenty of action is yet to come over the course of this weekend. But let's head down to Parc Ferme. Andrew Mather, it is over to you.
Thank you very much, Anthony. Down here in Parc Ferme, it is spitting with rain, but thankfully for Kai Rillerts, it's not too heavy rain, and you got in before the end of that race, before it started coming down. P1 for Superheat number 2 tomorrow. Kai, a brilliant day.
Yeah, positive day. I think I'm thankful for the whole team for all the hard work they did. It's been a tough few races, but I'm happy to be back in the front. We had a good day. We had a bit of rain, a bit of dry. We showed the speed in both, so I think for tomorrow it's looking good. Talk me through the thought process behind that race and the tactics, and trying to keep Morgado at bay there in that one. Yeah, I knew that the guy in first was too far ahead of me in points, so I was like, I have to focus on Morgado. He's the only one I have to keep behind to make P1 in the Superheat 2. So that was the main focus for this race, and not to win, and for sure not to crash. How do you deal with that as a driver? Is to say, because you had Joe Turney coming through, you had Jimmy Elias coming through, they weren't a threat to you in terms of intermediate classification. What goes through your mind when you've got those disruptors, as it were, around you in your race? Yeah, I just didn't want to crash, make sure I bring it home. We struggled a bit because for some reason I didn't have full brake pressure, so I struggled a lot with that. Also, an overtaking was pretty hard. So I was like, just keep it on the road, keep Morgado behind, and make the best out of tomorrow. It's arguably been the best performance you've had so far this season. The pace has been really strong from the Saudi this weekend. What do you think's made the difference? I think all the hard work from the team, from the factory, and I think all has been just. Everything has been out good, so I cannot thank enough Saudi Kart and as well Franco from TM Engines. Yeah, it's been a good weekend so far, so I hope we can continue this tomorrow. Very good. Well, Kai, brilliant performance. Keep that performance going, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Perfect, thank you. Well, there we go, our last visit to Parc Ferme for today. Anthony, back to you in the box.
Thank you very much, Andrew. You can just hear there in the background, the big circuit still operating, yet those clouds loom over the circuit. It just missed us. The track stayed dry, and I think all the drivers and, of course, those mechanics stayed very, very thankful for that. Saturday and all the qualifying heats are now complete. We know who is going to be starting on pole for tomorrow's Superheat, and you can catch those live starting at 10 to 10 tomorrow morning with Junior Superheat 1, and then of course to the seniors. Then we head back to Juniors for Superheat 2, and then the all-important finals starting a little bit later on in the day. Make sure you set your alarms ready for those here. Of course, we are running Champions of the Future on Sunday this weekend, a little bit off schedule of what we have usually been doing over the course of this season, but it is going to be an exciting day tomorrow for everyone here at the Slovakia ring. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Anthony Jordan. Andrew has been Andrew Mather. We will see you bright and early tomorrow morning.